everyone. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. My voice might be coming in a little bit loud because I'm coming from the engine room here. Well, not really. I've actually moved to cooler spot in the house. I think like the rest of the world, a cooler spot. So let me know if I'm coming in a little bit too strong, a little bit too soft. Let me know. Thursday Night Forum. Gary, thanks for joining.
Hello, thank you for having me.
All right.
Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, of course, Ray, Tony, Stan.
Yeah, listen, we always appreciate those of you who come to join us. This crew is a great crew. So, flight crew, Tony, what do you got to say, Tony?
The final countdown was glitching too, for me to get to like 24, skip to 23, then back up to 24 for like 3 numbers. It went back up.
It was glitching. Maybe time travel.
Yeah, it's traveling through time, I guess.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you was talking about the actual song, diddly-dee, diddly-dee-dee, the final...
Fuck you, Stan. I don't know.
That's what I thought. What's that got to do? What's that got to do?
I like the final countdown, definitely. Welcome, Urban Ghost, BX
Hello.
Gunner. Great to have you here. Evening, everyone. And Stan, how are you doing, Stan?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice and sunny here in Vancouver. Hello to everyone in the chat, and hello to the millions who will be listening to this on playback later on in their week. Yeah, all good. Thank you very much, and looking forward to having a chat with you guys about what we've been up to.
Yeah, listen, we get up into about the 80s, a little bit like here in the U.S. right now, 80 Fahrenheit for the Thursday Night Forum. A little bit more on Sunday shows, but listen, we appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to listen to our skewed takes. You know, we're all different. I'm thinking about you, Tony. One of Tony's takes. But anyway, listen, where should we start off? We should start off with Zinchenko, right?
Who that?
Gary.
Our Ukrainian guy.
Or the
I'm
match.
thinking about you, Gary. Go ahead, Stan.
Or the match, either one.
Yeah, we can start with Zinchenko because Tony might have a few things to talk about Zinchenko, but I'm thinking about Gary with Arsenal moving the way Gary wants Arsenal to move, getting things done quick. I know you want it done quicker, right, Gary? But
Definitely.
we're getting the player in, and he's meeting up with the team before.
No player out.
We'll worry about. Let's talk about the here and now, and then we'll move on to the next thing, Tony. But yeah, no, Zinchenko, bringing him in, I think is a good. I like the move. I like the move. He gives us flexibility, gives us coverage, he gives us experience. So if we're gonna get anything close, if we get anything close to what we got from Jesus, I think we'll be happy with it, right? I mean, we know it kind of seems like a good time to bring him in based on where we are with our fullbacks. So now we've got a decent cover, if not the cover or the player to sit at left back, because Tierney, gave us 30 minutes and we haven't seen him since. Tomiyasu, we haven't seen him either. So yeah, I'll take it. I'll take him, and it cost us. We're not spending a lot of money, it seems, but we're getting.
How much was it, Gary? I forgot. How much in pounds, please? Pounds.
I think it's
around
30. 30, yeah.
30 pounds.
So for 60, just over 60 pounds, 60 million pounds, we got
tidy
a striker and a left back, basically, or a midfielder, depending on what where we put him. So yeah, no, I think that's good business for us. His name did come up early in the window, or not really early, but earlier in the window, and then it disappeared. And then we had some business, it fell through, and then we went back to it, right? So yeah. I say that was a good move for us. It was good to see him in the stands. Would have liked to have seen him on the pitch, but that's fine. That's fine. I think he'll play on the weekend, so that should be a good thing. Looking forward to see him out there. He's going to be out there with his buddy, right? There's all these pictures of Jesus and Zinchenko, back in their days with the city team. So it should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, good business from Arsenal. Still, I think like anybody else, this is good, but we still need more.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. Stan, I got to give you a little bit of props. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about glass half full, glass half empty. You're more of the full variety, and steady on. Things are getting done by Arsenal now.
Yeah, and Gary kind of alluded to it with Zinchenko that we heard a little bit about it, or sort of when the window first opened, and then it went away, and then it got done. So my theory is that Arsenal, were still going around old school, blagging about what they were going to do, blabbing it here, blabbing it there, blabbing about Rafinha, blabbing about Zinchenko, and then we got gazumped by Rafinha. And some of our other targets were getting looked at. And then I reckon at the Lisandro Martinez thing, they were like, yeah, we're not interested in Zinchenko now. It's Lisandro Martinez. Meanwhile, that price got pumped up for United, who have ended up paying double what we have done. I'd like to think this was all a tactic. It was all planned out from the very start, right, to get them to spunk double the money. Meanwhile, we were like going, hello, is that Zinchenko? Yeah, we're still interested. Don't believe what you read in the papers. And then when I got the job done and got and snuck in for 30 million. That's how I'd like to think it went down. But really glad that we're getting this guy. And what I'm really pleased about is, and I know that we're going to touch on the match coming up soon that we just played. But you can see why we're stocking up in midfielders if you look at that first half. And we seem to have now, we're getting variety in that midfield. We've got Sambi Lokonga, Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, El Neni, Vieira. We've got this guy now coming in, Zinchenko. I think there's going to be 2 more signings as well. Either maybe this Paqueta, who could be a smokescreen for the Tielemans deal, and maybe another wide forward. But I think maybe another midfielder comes in, and that gives us variety, and it now gives us competition in that area. There's many formations and different ways that we can play in that midfield, which we've been kind of lacking. So I'm really pleased with this. And the added bonus about, and I told you this, right? The added bonus about signing Zinchenko is if you stand about maybe 5 feet away from him and squint, he looks a lot like Kevin De Bruyne. So for me, that's an added bonus. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I also think this is a guy that he comes in as a winner. He's won things. He knows what it takes to get through his season, which is good experience. And, he's going to get opportunities to play in his favoured position, which is midfield, which I'm looking forward to seeing. And it's going to be interesting to see how the pecking order midway through the season in the midfield shakes out, because he's got a variety of players to use, but there's only 3 that he can put in there at any one time. Emil Smith-Rowe's fighting for his place now. Odegaard's fighting for his place. He's going to have competition, and Partey's going to have competition, and also Granit Xhaka will have competition. So it's going to be interesting to see how the midfield shakes out.
Yeah, definitely, Stan. You mentioned the we did talk about Zinchenko earlier in the window. It was Jesus, it was Tielemans, it was Zinchenko. We were pretty heavy on that. And yeah, I was being a bit petty about Manchester United. If we weren't going to get Martinez, let's pump the price up. And I think it may have happened that way. It was well pumped, well pumped. But yeah, in the end, it's not Martinez who's going to be 5'7" central defender for Manchester United alongside the slab, Harry Maguire. We'll talk about that.
Good luck with that.
It's going to be Zinchenko, Tony.
Yep, Zinchenko, and we don't know what position. Everybody assumes midfield, even though for City he pretty much played as left back 82% of his career. He's played as left back. Only place he really plays as midfield is for Ukraine. So we'll figure that out. But right now, I think he's good backup for Tierney. Not bad price. He's got injury concerns. Only playing 20 games max in the Premier League, 24 in the Russian top flight. So he's had muscle injuries, knee injuries, more muscle injuries. Last year, escaped by pretty easy with just COVID. But still, only 20 games is a little concerning. Hopefully, he can stay fit. Maybe between Tierney and him, we can balance out his whole season and have a.
We sellotape them both together and maybe get one player.
Maybe.
Yeah, look, that is a possibility. Yes, you look into his injury record, and he does have some periods of time where he's been out. But no doubt, Gary, we are raising the quality of the team. And Zinchenko, he's a player now who can probably fit in two positions on the field. So he could get more appearances, which is what he wants coming to Arsenal.
Or three. He could be defensive mid, left, center mid, or
What I like
left
about
back.
this guy, and I think what Arteta likes about him is with Tierney, he's more of your very typical marauding up and down the touchline. With Zinchenko, he can do that because he is left-footed, but it's that key word that's been battered around quite a lot recently, which is inverted.
Yeah.
He's an inverted wing back, so he'll come more into the middle at times, which adds that extra support, so that someone like Thomas Partey isn't really a lone pivot. There's other people coming in to sort of. It was interesting. Something I heard earlier. It was players don't really play in positions anymore. They're more about playing in areas of the pitch, where they are in the pitch, where they cover, rather than being static with a position. And that's probably a good way to describe what you're going to see with someone like Zinchenko.
Yeah. Biek's going to say he's clearly playing in midfield or a left back, interchangeable. It's a good thing, Gary. You know,
Yep.
if Xhaka gets on the field, Tielemans can, not Tielemans, but Zinchenko could get on the field. Tierney could be on the same team with Zinchenko. So we've got a lot of options, especially on that left-hand side.
No, definitely. And going into this window, having cover or depth, whatever you want to call it, at our three key areas is important. And as you said, Zinchenko can probably back up Partey if we needed him to in a rare situation. I think that's what you're saying, right, Stan? He can back up Partey.
Well, no, just the way that he'll play that left back position rather than being so much on the touchlines, he'll come in more, this inverted word, and add extra support to that sort of midfield area. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, so that's, for me, that still means that we need proper backup behind Partey then. Like if Zinchenko's if Zinchenko basically could be a starter for in place of Xhaka and could be a starter for Tierney, but if Tierney's healthy, then we're going to play Tierney, right? Because it makes it can move Zinchenko further up the pitch and put him in a position there. So whereas if Tomiyasu's out, it's a bigger step down right now to Cedric. Not he's done a job, but it's a bigger step down in the other positions. So
we're well stocked. So we're well stocked on the right side because Cedric could be even sitting on further down that bench on the substitute bench because Ben White could play right back. Saliba could play the right central defensive.
Yeah, for me, Ben White actually I thought he looked okay. I know it was Orlando, and at least we got to see him playing out there. He looked okay to me, and seeing seeing Saliba and Gabriel lined up right next to each other was nice to see.
Nice. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was just a really nice thing to see there for me. So kind of enjoyed that.
So Gary, let me ask you a question. Yep. If there's a situation again where Tomiyasu is out for a prolonged period of time, would you rather see us go to a switch where Benny White goes in at right back and have Saliba and probably Gabriel as the centre backs?
Yeah, initially I thought yes, but then I'm like, well, damn, now we have no coverage, right? All right, if White's playing on the right, I know Holding can cover, but I'm just like, wow, that's typically we wouldn't want that, right? That would
him and Cedric in it as well, maybe. White and Cedric, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's imperative that Tomiyasu and Tierney come back to some degree at some point, because White can't be the long-term solution, I believe. I mean, it'll work, but I kind of feel like it'd be nice to be able to rotate our center backs, the three that we have today, than to push him out wide. Like in a pinch, like in a big game, like going into semifinal or something like that. When when that's later in the season, you might have to use him there. You'll be happy with him there, but long term, I kind of feel like that's where Tomiyasu, whoever is working on Tomiyasu and Tierney, they need to get these guys back and get them back so that when they're in, right? Yeah. For me, there's no rush to get them back. Like there's no rush to get them back, like, for the first game of the season if they're gonna have a setback.
Yeah, and our medical crew need to maybe not listen to Tierney, because I think he's going to try to be very persuasive, say he's okay to go, and we have to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
Why not said looked okay against Orlando? Oy vey. Well, this is preseason, and this is the time to look at these formations, get familiarity with the players together, and I want to linger a little bit on Zinchenko as well, so I don't want to wander down the Orlando road just yet, Stan.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer why not a point that he said I always thought that footballers played more in areas of the pitch. What I mean more that is like if you go back, say maybe 10 years ago, and you looked at maybe when you're doing Football Manager or talking about lineups, you had left backs, centre backs, and in the midfield, you had central attacking midfielders and you had deep line midfielders. Now, if you look at it, we talk about the left 8, we talk about the right 8. Do you know what I mean? It's terminology and terms that have more come into play than we used to have. So I'm just trying to sort of like, that the players kind of operate in slightly different ways because of the way that the formation's changed. We don't play in just a 4-4-2 anymore or a 4-4-2
Everything's a
diamond.
hybrid now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it'll come. I'm sure it will all come back around at some time. Like mini skirts and flares, right? They'll come back.
I'm sure
The question from Nerdscape, though, that's the one about Maitland-Niles. For me, if Arteta is catering to a player, and for me, he's hurting his career. Arteta, because he's letting him get what he wants.
His own career, looking at him in that first half.
No. They're both hurting his career, right? The player wants something. He is not working at it. He's wanted that position for what, a year and a half now? Does that look like a player who knows what that job entails?
If that was putting yourself in a shop window, then that shop is like fucking budget buy, no frills, discount shop.
I'm like watching that going, wow, you really want that position? You're not comfortable there at all. You get like 1 or 2 touches and you want to it's like hot potato. I want to get this ball away from me, because guess what? People gravitate to me in the middle of the pitch when I have the ball, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
He's like, why? It's like when the dogs chase after you, because they know you are scared, so they just chase after you. And then
you reminded me of something, Gary, from my childhood, right? When I was at school, I used to hate PE and games, all that. I hated it, right? So when we used to do rugby, the game that I hated the most, because I was quite fast at sprinting, they used to put me out what I would imagine would be the wing. And then they chucked me the ball, and then I would just have to run with it. But if any of those big guys got too near to me and looked like they were just about to do some kind of dive, I would literally throw the rugby ball over there. When they got too close, I just have the ball. Nah, none of that.
That's
easily made.
The board.
I was just looking at him. I was like, you have all this space in front of you, and then next thing you know, somebody steps to him, and it's gone. Ball's gone. It's a terrible pass. It gets intercepted because he's not passing it to anyone. He's just getting it away from his feet. And it's like, dude. And then Arteta is like, why do you keep putting it out there? Come on, tell him if you want to play and you want to stay, get outside. Get outside. I mean, go to the right and the back line.
But why not?
Have a lot of fun there.
Stan played hooker, the number 2 on the rugby team.
Listen, I can neither confirm or deny any activities.
Why not, Stan? What I mean, right? Just looking okay against Orlando. Orlando's not okay when Premier is 10 levels above. The translation will be costly, definitely. And
but it's more about. For me, it's more about getting comfortable being on the outside, whether or not it's against Orlando or whether it's against a championship team. It doesn't matter to me right now, because we keep saying we need to, it means nothing, but for me it means something that he's out there actually playing in that position, because for me it's potential that he might have to do it. I think he can handle it, right? There's levels to it, but I think he could handle it. If Cedric can handle it, I think he can handle it. You know what I mean? If Tavares can handle it, I think White can handle it. He may not be the best in some people's eyes, but I think compared to Tavage, he's fine. Compared to Cedric, in some respects, he's fine there as well. So, I don't think he's that bad, right? Behind, I don't think he's like you're looking at
Talk
Cedric,
about
looking at
Ainsley
Tavage, and you go, you
Maitland-Niles.
know what? I don't think he's going to be comfortable out there.
Do you not think that we're at the stage now where at our club we have quite a variety of people that can fill in that right back in varying degrees of how good they'll be, from Tommy Asu down to Rob Holding. And in between that, you've got players like Benny White, Cedric, Hector Bellerin's still hanging around the place, still stinking up the place, and then you've got Ainsley. So for me, if you've got that much choice, the one that kicked up a stink and said, "Boss, I don't really fancy that position," and then left the club to try and play in another position, it didn't work out. He's the guy for me that's like break glass and emergency. All the other people that I've named have to be like dead, dying on the battlefield for me to go to that well, because he's told me that he's not up for it.
Yeah, you know what? And I always say, first you say it, then you do it, right? He says he doesn't want to do it. You force him to go play right back. You probably won't get the best out of him. I think you will.
He did always say it once that he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but why did? But he keeps playing in midfield, and he's terrible there. That's terrible. Not even like, all right, I can see where you were going with this. I can see. Oh yes, you were going to try to pass the ball out wide to Pepe, but instead you passed it like 5 feet short, and it barely made it to the defender.
But isn't that more dangerous if he's playing at a fullback position and his passing is that bad? He could really turn the ball over in an even more dangerous position. Yeah. So
he was horrible. He and Pepe were horrible on the right hand side.
You know what is it? No, wait a second. You know what I saw from him? In one game, we didn't have Pepe, and that's not Pepe, but we didn't have Partey, and I think Partey is an outlet. Partey, for me, that's why we need to somehow keep him healthy, because he is the guy that will be in the middle of the mess, and you just get the ball to him, and he'll be fine. And if he has that outlet when he gets the ball, Maitland-Niles, and he looks up and it's Partey there, I think we're fine.
Okay.
The trick is, can Partey be healthy?
I wanna just quickly bring it back to Zinchenko, and then we can get into the Orlando game. Right, Barry? Come on now.
Yeah, sorry, my fault.
Stan had 5 minutes there going off script.
We're into business for ourselves there for a minute.
Sorry, people.
No, you got excited. You got excited about Ainsley Maitland-Niles in the wrong way and Pepe in the wrong way on that right hand side. We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Ray.
Listen, Tony, bring some order to this, Tony. Zinchenko, he's gonna be able to keep the ball, and this is what we need. More players can hold the ball. We just talked about Ainsley Maitland-Niles in a right back position and midfield position. Zinchenko can do this and much better on the other side and hold on to the ball.
Yeah, he can play all three positions across the middle. He can even play right, center, mid, central defensive mid, central mid, then left mid, and left back.
Yeah.
I think
like a Swiss Army knife, isn't he?
Yeah.
We are not gonna. I see the appetite.
He's kind of like our other Swiss Army knife.
Has he got a spoon?
He's like our other Swiss Army
bottle opener.
He's good.
I can see the appetite is to move on to the Orlando game really quickly, but let me just throw a few stats out at you, Gary. Kieran Tierney, 82% success of passing. His average passes per game, 42 passes per game. Zinchenko, 83 passes per game and 90%. So not only is his success rate of passing much higher, but he actually gets involved in build up a lot more.
But is that in the same sort of snapshot of amount of
area?
Games? No, area. Not that. No, but amount of games, because if you've played less games, then
it's
your
an
stats
average.
Do you know what I mean? Then again, who's playing less games than Tierney?
He has.
He's still an average, Stan.
If he's playing less games than Tierney, then fucking hell, has anyone got a receipt?
He played 15 games last season.
How many?
15. 1-5.
Is Zinchenko or Tierney?
Zinchenko.
Okay.
Tierney had about 20, 21 games.
So Zinchenko is the backup left back at City, isn't he? And if the guy's injured, he comes in, sort of thing, right?
Yeah, but
What's his
He's very-
stats like for Ukraine where he plays in the midfield? You know, what's his stats like for that? Does he get on the goal sheet? Does he put in assists? Is he a tackler? Because I hear that that when people talk
No.
about him playing for his country, they say that he's good in midfield. But I don't watch the Ukraine play, so I wouldn't know.
No, he did get rave reviews against Scotland. He is the Ukrainian captain, Gary. So we got another
Against
national
Scotland.
captain.
You had me until he said with Scotland, and I was like, oh, okay.
You had me, and then you said Scotland.
Yeah, and I've got a Scottish background, so you know that's.
Welcome to the assemble. Listen, I can see the appetite is to move on to the Orlando game, but any final points on Zinchenko?
No, I mean, I kind of feel like he's coming to Arsenal. He's going to get a little bit more freedom because we don't have, not necessarily a Pep, but we don't have the allotment of players. That means that you can restrict people to certain roles and responsibilities. He's going to get a lot more flexibility, I think, with Arsenal, and I believe he's got the skills to help us out. So once again, we've raised either raised the ceiling or the floor, depending on how you look at it. But it's good for on a whole. It's good for the squad bringing him in. So I'm happy for the move.
The way I would summarize him is think about the reliability of a Nacho Monreal.
Tony's Lodgers. Can't get that.
The reliability of a Nacho Monreal, but he's able to actually pass the ball a lot more.
Oh,
damn, Gary! Oil that thing.
I thought that was a person. That's actually an oily door. I thought that was a person.
That's it's like it's
coming
like
out of the basement and seeing daylight for the first time in like 6 months.
Gary had the basement.
That's just the alarm, the doorbell, just so people.
Note to self when breaking into Gary's, use window. Sorry, that door give it away, right? It's like creeping up on Gary. You that ass, are you?
No, we know somebody's coming in.
Oh fuck!
The extra games, Zinchenko and Kieran can't cover.
Pack your can of lube with you, Stan.
The left back.
Yeah, but you know what? That's just less games that he's going to play. So if you told me that was the option, then that means because Cedric can on occasion play a decent game for Arsenal, right?
Not terrible.
Now he's not going to have to play as many, especially if we continue to bring some more players into the midfield, right? So I think that depth. This is the kind of depth that we need, right? So. We've got coverage, we've got depth in midfield, and we need that as well. So, yeah.
Plus, he also feels like ginger quota because you've got to have 2 at every club, right, in the Premier League, and we've got him and Ramsdale now, so we tick that box as well. So that's good.
Plus, if you squint really, really hardly, you'll think it's Kevin De Bruyne because he can pass the ball. Zinchenko. There's a lot of value to what you're saying, Stan. The inverted role in midfield, he's going to wander into midfield a little bit. The difference between him and Kieran Tierney is Kieran Tierney will hug that sideline and actually get to the touchline as well, the byline, to be able to cut some balls back. Zinchenko will build up a little bit more on the edge of the box.
To answer your question, Stan, for his career for Ukraine, 8 goals, 4 assists.
Say again?
8 goals, 4 assists.
In how long?
Doesn't say.
Okay, that's not bad though, is it?
Oh, wait,
well, he's 25 years old.
7 years,
and he's playing in the midfield, right, for Ukraine.
He's probably played about 60 or 70 games for his country, so it's not bad. Does Tony know what his shirt says? We would hope.
7 years, 52 appearances.
52 appearances. Okay.
Tidy.
Tony, can you translate what your shirt says?
No, I cannot translate what my shirt says.
It probably says I'm an idiot, but you wouldn't even know.
It says probably something Star Wars and probably Mandalorian down at the bottom.
This is the way.
Who knows?
Might be. How much are we paying Zinchenko, by the way, just out of interest?
Oh, how much we paying him now? You want to know that as well?
Yeah, I'm not heard that mentioned. I'm just interested.
I haven't heard that about any of our players this year, what their salary is.
We know Gabriel Jesus is going to be the highest paid player. then it will be
About
part
2.25 for him, I think. Everybody
See, I've
else
heard it's
has
between
it.
190 to 240, depends on what you listen to, and if you're adding in bonuses, and if you're talking in British pounds or euros.
for Jesus.
Yeah, I heard about 2.25.
Yeah, so it varies, you know.
You know what I don't like? Okay, we're gonna get into Jesus at some point. I'll save my
Pickled
comments
onions.
for that.
Pickled onions.
That was not where I was going.
Girls who
He's
fart
asking
but
what
then
you
don't
don't
own
like.
up to it. I hate that. Sorry, I'm
Come
just
on,
trying
Gary,
to guess
admit
what
to
Gary
what you don't
hates. I'm just trying to guess. The smell of wet dogs.
You're going downhill because you got me on the second one you said, but
Hey,
then after that
Stan, we're
you started
supposed to be
getting
talking
worse
about
and worse. Come
Zinchenko.
on, I need you to at least go better before we end this little segment
All right.
here.
Sand under
Ray
your
forgot to
foreskin.
lock the cockpit door today.
That's it, right? We don't. That's yeah. Winner takes all. That's it. Winner takes all.
I
There.
think we're done.
Moving swiftly on.
All
No
right,
one.
move
No
on.
one likes sand there.
Moving swiftly
Tony?
on.
Tony, your T-shirt.
What about my t-shirt?
It says. What does it say? Does it say nobody likes sand? No, I'm joking. We don't know. We don't know. Someone
Do we
bring
want
us
to
back
talk
to
about
order.
what you were saying?
Oh my
before the
gosh,
show
you're
in
gonna
the
be
back to
green room?
crying
order.
here. Oh my god.
Do we want
Inverted
to talk about what
fullbacks.
you were saying in the green room?
Yes,
Stan?
so Stan,
Yes.
the inverted
right.
fullbacks, we want to see some of that from Zinchenko. Kieran Tierney, this means Nuno Tavares is going to be further away from the team, and that will be a good thing for a lot of people, a lot of Arsenal fans out there.
How is that going to happen?
Well, he won't be the next choice after Tierney.
Oh, I thought you said further up the pitch. That's what I thought you said. Because I was like, how is he going to move further up the pitch? We're like,
Gary's in killer mode right now. If you say the wrong thing, Tony, say the wrong thing, he's going to jump on you.
Yeah, we don't know where.
Do you think there's any
bodies are
chance
buried.
that because he's not officially been announced, but we've all seen the pictures of him being in attendance, and they've obviously got him on a plane and flown him over there to America as quickly as possible. Is there any chance that he's gonna be announced in the Chelsea game, or is he just hanging out with the team?
He was already in the States
announced tomorrow.
Stan, he was already in the States, so he took a flight from Houston, Alonso's area.
Okay. Man City were there, so he
Florida.
just basically.
Yep.
Oh, I see. I
Yep.
get you.
And Pep said he's gone, so that's almost like Fabrizio, right? Pep says he's gone. He's gone.
It's nice the way they do it. They had a nice meal together as a City family. And
where's Stephen going with this? Because I don't know what did I
did Gary tell you the secret last night? Did he tell you where the body's buried?
There was some joke and I forget it now. I don't keep my memory's bad.
Why not? I would hate to see another.
Gary just buries them everywhere.
If we can, if our.
Oh, listen, I'm just going to say I would never tell, but I do know where the bodies are buried. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, Ray.
Gary just has a pig farm.
That's all I know. Gary has a pig autographs, but won't be announced. Won't be announced till Monday. Well, we all saw it. He was in Arsenal kit.
He announced himself, didn't he? He was at the game, like just full pictures
of him.
If
he's not playing on Saturday, I will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Gary has a pig farm with very fat pigs. Is all you need to know.
King
I like bacon. That's all I gotta say. I do like bacon.
You eat what you kill. How dare you, Gary?
So, Gary,
sorry.
This game yesterday, Orlando won, Arsenal 3.
Yes.
Look, MLS is very much into their season right now. Mm-hmm. They are levels below the Premier League, but they have, through fitness, shown some Premier League teams a couple of defeats here and there just in preseason. And look, you don't get gassed either way about preseason, up or down. But a
couple of good players on that team. I don't watch MLS. I mean, they got Pato. I remember Pato years ago was, was a prodigy, wasn't it? There was another, the guy, the winger that scored the goal. The winger for them, I think he has a Latino name. Was it Fernandez or something like that? Who scored the goal? That was a really nice goal that he scored. If that was one of our players, we'd be lauding that up. And then there was another guy. I think he was the number 5, short hair. I don't know if he was playing in defence midfield for them, but he was putting in a lot of really nice passes, I noticed. So they actually caught my eye, right? Do you know what I mean? Which is quite rare that sort of thing happens. But
Yeah.
I don't know how you would class the levels. But the biggest thing that I took from that game yesterday, because I had an opportunity to watch it. My biggest takeaway is this: looking at that first half, which I would basically say that was our second string team. Maybe the only first stringer in there was Martinelli, right? And maybe Benny White. Other than that, it was what I would call a second string team, a team that would probably be going out to play early games in the Caribou Cup or the Europa League. And what I've noticed from that is that individually, if you take some of those players out of that team that was rolled out in the first half individually and put a couple of them in the first team,
Yeah.
maybe a Holding has to drop in there somewhere, or an El Neni has to drop in there somewhere. They literally, they more often than not, they do a very good job when they have to come in and do that. But when you play them all together as a collective, they just ain't up to snuff at all. And you notice that when you get to the second half and he started to introduce the first team players, started to come into it, how the game was lifted. And my worry is that a player like Eddie Nketiah, there'll be times when he's not going to be in the team with the high quality around him. He'll be in the team, in the second string team, but we will be looking to him to be the torchbearer of that team. And I'm worried that in that sort of environment, a player like Nketiah, you're not going to get the best out of him. It's a big drop off, but you put him in and amongst the team, and he's got Gabriel in the team with him, and some of the others, it seems better. So that's what I noticed. So what do we do to bridge that gap? As a collective, they're a bunch of arse, man.
I think that comes to the manager, and the selection has to be right. When you get to Thursdays and Sundays, the selection has to be mixed in such a way you can win a game in Europe, in the Europa League on a Thursday night, but then also you can switch it up on a Sunday. It's going to be mostly Thursdays, Sundays, right, Gary? And that's down to Arteta, and he maybe found the right temperature by gradually adding the first team players into this game and finding those players he can
saw
trust.
it pick up, markedly pick up, right?
He ratcheted up the quality within the team as the game went on, you know. So Gary, this is our Europa League group stage, at least in September. We're going to be fielding some weaker teams. It won't be 8 or 9 players that have to be gone, but we're going to be fielding some weaker teams, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you want to speak for me?
Carry on.
How's it work? How's it work, Gary? Just remember, Tony. Gary used to be a hitman in the UK.
Gary, you have permission. Please.
Thank you, Stan.
Permission for liftoff, Gary.
I guess Tony, go ahead, speak, dude.
No, it's all right.
No.
I'll wait my turn.
You're going to be next, Tony. Just so you know. To speak.
No, if that's our second squad, woof. I mean, I'm a little concerned. Because Nketiah's trying. I believe he did try to do some of the things that we see Jesus do, but he's just not there yet. And he does come back, for the ball, come back that support in midfield. But the one thing about Nketiah that I notice is that he comes back, but then he forgets that his position is really up top, right? Jesus will come back, and as soon as he has an opportunity to move
on his bike,
he's gone. And you're like, Nketiah is going to learn from seeing Jesus do that time and time again when it's necessary. Hopefully it's not necessary when Partey and Erdogan and Zinchenko maybe are playing in the midfield, or Paqueta maybe, or whoever else we might pick up in the middle there. Because I noticed that, and I was like, wow, Jesus, I think on the goal, was it the goal or a pass? I can't remember. Jesus gets the ball, close to right around midfield, spins and gets the ball outside, and then he's down there. And I know Nketiah can do that because I've seen him sprint, so I know he can do it. But he seems to take he doesn't play for the entire segment, right? He'll make a play and then he'll kind of like give up, and it's like what? Yeah. And he'll lose the ball and he'll give up. And Jesus, no. If he loses the ball or the ball's lost, he will track back and go get it. So hopefully, what Jesus is showing is that, look, this is how to play that position. Nketiah has it in him. He just doesn't know what it looks like, and now he does. He'll see it every day in practice. He'll see it every day on the pitch, and hopefully it'll rub off, because Nketiah, we need him to be able to do those types of things, especially if that's going to be our lineup. Especially.
Tony, you ready, Tony?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, listen, Gary's pointed out Gabriel Jesus, a player who's showing the way. We brought Zinchenko, so we've got two Manchester City players who are going to show a will to win, experience to know what they're doing. But Nketiah and Jesus together, it looks like the early stages of a Lacazette and Aubameyang type of partnership. It looks like something we're going to see in parts of some games as well. If we need to get a draw or we need to get ourselves that win, Nketiah is going to come on and join Jesus up front. And Jesus shows that energy.
Yeah, Jesus picks up the pace, shows the energy. I didn't like that he was diving into way too many tackles. I don't want to see that continue in the season, or he'll be injured very quickly. 6-7 times last night that you seen him go to the ground.
Yeah, he does do that, doesn't he?
And he's just kind of throwing himself in there. But what people aren't mentioning in Europa and the Premier League, you both get the 5 substitutions, so you kind of mix in the starters and the reserves, make your 5 subs, bring on your impact players, your good stars if you need to in Europa. So far, Arteta hasn't fielded weak teams in the cup competitions. I wish he would. Hopefully he learns his lesson this year and pretty much focuses on the Premier, because if not, I don't see us making top 4 if he doesn't prioritize the plays, gives the guys a rest, plays with friends players, throws in a few academy players. But with the 5 subs, he has to utilize that, especially in the Premier League. Have to be bringing on 2 at 70 minutes, 2 at 30 minutes, and whatever the game dictates.
You got to speak the whole time, non-interrupted at all, Tony. So don't say that me and Stan interrupt you. Very, very bad, Tony.
Are you done, Gary?
Jesus is class. Just hope he can be prolific. I think you'll get 15 goals in the league. I think you can get 14, 15 goals in the league. Listen, there's not many players out there, we've said this before, can score 20 goals in the Premier League. They were talking about 20 goals across all competitions. Jesus can do it across all competitions. He's going to get games in the Europa League, especially in the latter stages. FA Cup, hopefully we go far in both cup competitions as well. And Jesus is class. And he's starting to show things we're worried about right now, Stan. He's shown, I don't want him to get injured on Saturday. He's shown that willingness to throw himself in there. Do that in the Premier League, but I don't want him to get injured on Saturday and be out for a month. You know what I mean?
And I know that I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit. And no, I'm not going to talk about Tielemans' coaching badges. What I'm actually going to mention is that, we lost Aubameyang and we lost Lacazette. And I still feel if we get to the end of the window and we haven't brought in another forward, that we've been a little bit shortchanged. Okay, maybe Martinelli. I know maybe there are some internal options that they may be looking at, but just like what you said there, should Gabriel get injured very quickly in the first month of the season and is out for 3 months, which can happen, then it doesn't leave us with a lot of options, because I would imagine Balogun's are going to be going out on loan. Then we are going to be having to maybe use someone who's going to be someone that's not used to that position.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, we should be maybe using a Martinelli or whoever may be earmarked as that plug to play in some of the friendly games, right? To give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. I still think that there's 2 players that are going to come in. I'm not sure if one of them's going to be a striker, though. To me, I think we're going to get maybe
think
another
there is
midfielder
still,
and a winger.
yeah, I think there is still two to go. Well, a forward of some kind, and of course, I'm holding out for Tielemans, right?
Maybe
I feel like,
limping to January and being, if we're in a good place in certain competitions, they may have to look and say we have to maybe bring in somebody else to help share the load to get to the
Ray, is
next
there
bit.
Tillman shrine behind you?
listen, we want to increase our levels in midfield. I think Zinchenko is a half measure. He can fill in midfield. He can fill in at left back. Is he going to be prolifically playing in midfield? I don't think so. I still think we need to address an actual extra midfielder for the team in the next 2 weeks.
We'll play somebody besides Paqueta because we don't need another attacking midfielder.
And I just think Tielemans it's there. We keep on checking on him every other night that he's okay, and he'll come eventually, Stan.
Well, the latest thing is that he's going to have a talk with Brendan Rodgers this week and say, I don't want, I want to be out of here by the summer. So it all seems that, I think it's a case that Arsenal are trying to save as much as they can on this particular deal and whittle it down.
Yeah.
And if we can get rid of 2, maybe 3 players from our side for however much, it's going to really clear a lot of the wages as well, because we've got a few players. Leno's on a pretty penny. Hector Bellerin's on a pretty penny. There's 2 right there.
To mark all of your cards, and we want to do this in a few minutes. We're going to finish the Orlando game, but I want to go through the 8 or 9, 10 players we have, and let's between us come to a figure that we can actually recoup some money on each of those players and figure out how much money Arsenal's going to recoup from this window. But Gary, Martinelli scored the first goal. I know it was heavily deflected, but
nice goal.
Yeah, this is a player that maybe needs to have a good preseason. He's been having a good preseason, and we want Martinelli to hit this season pretty hard, right, Gary?
Definitely, and he needs to put himself in scoring positions a lot more. I mean, it was a nice move. Yes, it's Orlando, but it's a nice move to step inside and be able to try to go for the far corner there. I mean, I think it gets stopped if it makes it through because the goalkeeper's so far off the line, and I think he's able to get to it. But the deflection, meant he put a little bit of power onto it because it just went straight in. It was almost like bang bang goal. Nobody had a chance for it, so that's a plus. So yeah, we needed more from him, more of that. I mean, he looked really dangerous on that side going, so we just need a lot more of that. He needs to put the ball in positions to where a goal can occur, and a lot more than he's done in the past. So hopefully that's what they're working on. So yeah, I like Martinelli there. That once I think those 3 up top, if that's our starting, front line, that's going to be nice to see as they get get used to each other, right? So
2 Brazilians, 1 English player, the star boy in Saka, right?
And the one thing that, as we said, Jesus has to know that it's okay not to put yourself in that situation sometimes. In terms of, he was on the ground too much, and the last time I said that, or we've said that as a fan base about a player, was Tierney, always on the ground. Next thing you know, we just can't get it. We just he's limping off the pitch kind of thing. So he needs to know, because some of that stuff. It's like, what did you put yourself in that situation for? Wasn't necessary. You're running away from goal, and you're still getting knocked to the ground. What's going on? So
listen, he's going to play like that. I think some of that might be the enthusiasm of the move, trying to impress us fans right now. But I think we're amply impressed, and just get to the start of the season in good shape. So, Tony, what were your thoughts on Martinelli and maybe Reece Nelson as well?
I thought Martinelli's looked pretty sharp so far. The worry is long World Cup run. Then we don't have him in January. If we move him into a striker role, we still won't have him because there. That's why we need to go in, get another striker, forward, whatever. But Nelson, he's the one I always wanted to keep. Sell Arcadia before he got him. He looked pretty sharp. I'd go ahead and keep him. You got 25 men you can register for the league, 29 in Europe. So I think he's good enough to be a backup winger. Come on. Especially in Europa, I think he's good enough. Maybe not so much in the Premier League, but if he keeps up this form, maybe he can make a move into the Premier League, be a good backup. I think both of them look pretty good. I don't think our wingers should be priority because we still got Smith Rowe who can play on the left.
Yeah.
I don't think
I think
we really need another one. But
yeah, I think we still have a lot of options where we're going to spend the rest of our money this window.
Midfield.
We're kind of caught in between Zinchenko and somewhere in midfield. Maybe Nelson if we spending money somewhere else. Maybe Nelson's a fit for a backup for Saka. I don't think so myself, but we'll see what happens. On the road says Nuno Tavares channeling his inner Thomas Partey with those shots from outside the box. And I think Nuno is playing for a loan right now. Gary?
No, he's not. He's getting sold.
Okay, Tony.
Everything linked to him, so he's getting sold.
I thought the last report is that Arsenal is not going to put a loan with an option to buy.
No, he's going to get a loan, and we will be in control of that.
I mean, there's something there, but once again, this is Arsenal going out and getting players that aren't ready to play for them yet, and they just don't have the once they come in and you see the little bits that they maybe be able to give you, you just can't give them away that easy. But yeah, I think Nuno is still. I mean, the goal that was scored. It was Nuno and Marie, right? Nuno needs more time, and Marie is, I would rather have Walters out there than Marie, based on what I've seen from Walters, and it's not even his position. So, I kind of feel like we've got a lot of players that need to go. And for me, even like a Nelson, like Arteta didn't, we needed some depth last season. We let a lot of players go, and it hurt us. If he feels confident that it's okay to let these players go, even though they could provide cover, then for me, I just think we need to move on. We're just kind of dragging this thing on, and keeping a Nelson, keeping a Maitland-Niles, and unless you're going to play them, unless they're going to be part of like a solid they're going to come in and spell players. I kind of feel like we're wasting our time with them, and we'll be back here next year going, all right, now they're down to a year left, and we can't sell them because they're they have not been utilized enough and all this kind of stuff
What's
that we
that
go
in the
through with our
background?
players.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah. So yeah,
What was that, Tony?
So is that you in the background? Your jet engine?
That's the jet engine. I'm here right beside the forced air. Like many in this world right now, looking for a little bit of cool air. Moved into the kitchen here.
Yeah.
Steven just got off work, Gary. So,
yeah. No, like I said, if Nelson's going to be here, then he needs to play. I need to feel like he's going to be part of the squad, and play him if he's going to be here. Otherwise, we've seen this too many times, right? How many times are we going to sit there and go, well, we kept this player, and then, I guess they're going to be gone in January because we're not playing them when we need to.
Here's the situation. So here's the situation. Now we brought in all of these players, right? We've got 8 players. We've got 33 players on our squad right now, and we need to register 25 of those players. 8 of those players need to go. We can't really bring anyone else in until we move some players now. So now we're at the point in the window. I think windows
29 in Europe, Ray. We can keep some of them.
Yeah, but you're going to keep.
Why are we keeping players we're not going to play? It makes no sense to me. Just because we need the numbers, we're not playing them. We didn't play players last year, and we needed them. So this manager has shown me He keeps showing us what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's not going to play players just because he's got the numbers.
He can't do what he did last year and just play 13 players in the Premier League.
I'm just telling you what he's done. You look at
All right,
look at what you see on. Look what you see.
I know what he does. I'm saying he can't do it again.
No,
let's
but
get into this.
Ray promised me he won't do it this season.
oh, see
Yeah,
that's yeah. Now, thank you. I know. I
What's
trust
he saying
Ray.
I promised?
Ray
What's he saying? I promised. All right, listen.
You promised that
Validate your
Arteta
boarding
will
pass.
use more subs this season.
Validate your boarding pass. Hit that like button. That's your boarding pass to the podcast here, and we really do appreciate when you do that as well. Thanks, Stephen. As soon as you enter the show. Okay, let's do this exercise now. Okay.
Hold on a minute. You're not going to ask me about Martinelli's goal or what I think about Reece Nelson.
Absolutely.
I mean, as I'm here.
Yes, of course. And
Fuck
you're
you,
gonna be
Stan.
here.
You don't matter.
You know what I mean?
Go
Is he
for
gonna-
it.
Them unused
Okay.
subs.
Because I listen to everybody else. You know what I mean?
You know
He
what
went
happens?
Gary, Tony, back to Gary, and I'm just been listening.
You're-
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
So-
whoa, whoa!
So
What
as
do
you've
you-
now,
That's
as you've
fair.
all,
I
as
like
you've
being
all,
held to account.
as you've all now
Ted
had
is
a
not
little
putting
bit,
you in a
and
row,
I've waited
Jason
patiently.
Stan.
I'll tell you what I
Play
think.
Martella. Play Martella.
Sorry, Tony, you have more to say, obviously.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying you're an unused sub. Sorry. Play manager up above you.
Look, why not is right here. There's many players that are not up to the required levels. Go ahead, Stan.
Well, actually, I really liked Martinelli's goal, personally. I really like the give and go, the 1-2. And there's been a lot of times when Martinelli's been in that position where he's had the ball and there's had about 3 or 4 of the opposition around him, and everybody else is watching him from around the penalty box and not going out there to try and help Martinelli bring the ball out. So I really enjoyed the give and go, and I like the finish as well. Reece Nelson, I just think that I don't see Mikel Arteta going from 1 minute he's looking at Rafinha and 55 million, and he's going to now just go and think now, okay, we'll just stick with Reece Nelson. The only way I think Reece Nelson gets a stay of execution is if he maybe uses that money to, instead of buying another winger, he goes and buys another forward and puts the winger on a back burner and has Reece Nelson as a sort of like a backup's backup. Give him a chance to play, see if he can make anything out of it. But I think he's had a lot of chances, and I think if he was anywhere on the radar, Arsenal wouldn't have been looking at spending 50 odd million on Rafinha.
So you know what's difficult? What player is going to come to Arsenal and say you're going to be behind Saka, Bukayo Saka, for a full season?
Well, it's rotation though, isn't it? It's you know, we saw how many games Saka played last season, and if you're fighting on 4 fronts, there has to be rotation.
Yeah.
At some point, players can go in and out of form. It's nice to know that you can take somebody out, give them a little bit of breathing space, and put someone in, rather than trying to play them out of the bad form and they just end up digging a hole for themselves, which can happen. So it's healthy as well, right?
Yeah.
It's healthy.
As Rule said, we have additional games, so we need more numbers. A lot of players will be satisfied with bit parts.
If we were a big club, our Saka may play 20 to 25 games, and we wouldn't even have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
we are rotating, and I'm talking about in the Premier League, because we are rotating them around, and we do have the cups, and we do have the Europa League games. So yes, and one, you know, and I was broken record, Gary. He doesn't need to play. He's not, for me.
I feel like I've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
From Gary.
Yeah, I know. I keep saying the same thing. He plays too much, and it'd be okay if he sits on the bench. It's actually a good thing I believe in his long-term career, that he doesn't. We don't have to rely on
There's
him.
no reason he's playing 3,000 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because right now we don't have a true replacement, a true backup for him. Right? There's nobody, like when we put him on the bench, we go, damn.
For Saka,
Yeah.
I mean, we know Pepe can do the job in the Europa League and the weaker competition.
That can't be the answer.
Pepe won't be here.
That can't be the answer anymore. How many times are we going to go down this well? And it's
Gary,
always
we've
dry,
spent-
man. The
we've
well's
spent
always
a
dry every
lot
time
of
we go
money.
there.
We
It doesn't
spent
matter.
a lot of money in the last
That
2
money's
summers.
gone. Don't worry about the money. It's gone. We lost it. It's gone.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the players that we bought last season and the players that we bought this season.
Yeah, but none of those answer the question of who plays behind Saka and puts him on the
Correct.
bench when he
Because
needs
it
to.
hasn't been an issue to cover that until now.
No, it was an issue
207
last season. We just played through, and luckily he did not get hurt.
So far, we've spent 270 million and haven't fixed that problem.
I get what you're saying. I just don't
Mm.
know if the money's going to be allocated.
How many
to
games
that.
did we watch Saka and go, damn, it would be nice if he just did not have to play?
Yeah.
All right,
I know
he's going
that.
to go away. He's going to go on international
Mm.
duty. I hope he doesn't play. And he plays every game, comes right back, and he's playing again. And you're like, damn, you know?
And I was
No.
surprised he started so fast last season after the long.
No, definitely. I
Euros
definitely
break.
agree with you, Gary. I just don't know if they're going to allocate the money to do it. If they can identify the player to cover that as well. And does Nelson or Pepe do the job?
So they have a backup to Rafinha. They're willing to pay him 60. There are no backup options.
And we can play Jesus at right wing and have Nketiah up top.
Yeah, but there'll be times, right, where you're going to want to take Jesus out of the team to give him a breather,
Yep.
not shift him over to the right wing to give Saka a breather and make him run even further up and down the wing and get no rest.
Yeah.
So we still need something in that area.
Yeah, I think we solved the problem of our first 11 being strong, but the other problem we've always had is we need depth.
Yeah, big
right?
shout. Could be.
Right, we need depth, and that's kind of going to be an issue for a while. But we have on our day, if we're all healthy, we can compete with most teams in the league, right?
Yep.
So that's what we want. I've always wanted a starting 11, and then let's see, right?
You're on the camera, Shannon.
Pepe needs to leave for the club's sake, and the further away from Arteta Pepe gets, the better off he will be. His form in the Africa Cup of Nations showed that. So listen, I want to go through. There's a number of players here. I've got 9 players on the list. I think we could all agree on maybe is not long for Arsenal anymore. Let's start with Bernd Leno. How much do we expect, Gary, to be? How much money? Let's all maybe agree on a certain figure that we can roughly calculate how much money is going to come back into Arsenal this summer. How much money do you think we'll get for Leno?
How much
right now it sounds like 8 because that's all
Can I-
Fulham's
can I-
willing to pay.
Can I ask you, when you tell us each player, can you start and tell us what we bought them in at?
22 million, I think.
Was that pounds, though?
Yeah, I think.
25
I
million
think it was
euros, right?
closer to 24 or 26 million.
I mean, double check.
25 million euros, right? Or something like that.
Yep. I think we'll get 10 million back.
Has his talents dropped by 50% since he's been at Arsenal?
That's the problem right there.
Number.
That is the problem right there.
Well, if we can do this quickly, we can cycle through 9 players quickly enough.
He's worth 20, but we're not going to even get close to that.
I think we should be getting like 15 for him, but I think that it will probably be nearer maybe 10 or 12.
Okay, I'm at 10. Stan is at 11. Tony?
10.
10.
He's
Sure.
worth a lot more than that. I don't, like I said, I'd buy him. I'd
Let's
keep
say
him.
we get 10 million from Fulham. And they've just bought a new player for about 5 or 6 million already. So the next one up is Hector Bellerin. Gary, how much are we going to get for Hector? 3, 4?
They don't want to pay anything for him. They want him to be for free.
Teams will wait to
We
pitch
need
for
to get
free.
5 for him. So the guy won a team a trophy on a loan, and he was one of the contributing
Leno was
factors to that.
22 million pounds.
And we can't even get 5 for him, but we should get 5 should be the bare minimum. I mean, he's worth more than that, I believe, but yeah.
All right. 5 million. Stan, higher or lower?
How long has he got left in his contract?
2 years, let's say. I don't know exactly.
Give me a
Tony,
second. I'll do the research.
Probably, I don't
transfer
know,
mark, so it's not
a couple of million,
Still accurate.
maybe 3 million, something like that.
okay.
Not a lot.
Let's say 4 million, okay, because Rule said 5, Gary said 5. Let's
It's
say-
ridiculous though, because I think he's actually worth a lot more than that.
Yep. Well,
I think
this
he's worth at least he's worth again at least somewhere between 8 and 10 million. How old is he?
This is the issue with Arsenal. We have not been good at selling players at the right time. We're going to have to digest some tough sales in the next couple of years. Players were emotionally invested. Kieran Tierney.
But can I just
Tierney,
say one
we
thing
get-
though, because you're saying these names right, and I'm looking at what I think that they're worth, but then I'm also then having to then on
Realistic.
top of that think about how Arsenal,
Yeah.
sort of like do their business. But then when I think like that, I just remember back to when Roma put in that bid for Granit Xhaka for 12 million. We didn't take it. We didn't fold and take it, did we? So
Give Bella crap away.
I suppose it all depends on what day, how Edu feels when he gets out of bed on whatever day. So what's going to happen? 'Cause
Steven
it's-
says too
Are we
late.
going to get another Iwobi deal? That's not going to happen, is it? They're going to get manage to pull the wool over
Transfer
someone's
market
eyes.
has him at 18 million.
Who's that?
Bellerin.
18.
18 million. We're not going to get 18 million pounds for Hector Bellerin, surely. So we take that 18 million and then put a couple of million on tops and give it to Leicester for Tielemans. I wish. You know what I
Raoul's
mean?
right. We as fans have affected the value of our players. We have publicly
His
denigrated
contract
some of our
expires at
talent.
the end of this season, Stan.
Okay, I've got 4 million.
His transfer at the end of this season.
Yep.
He's going for free then, isn't he? Oh, you mean the season just starting?
Yeah.
The end of this season. So this is
June
last
23.
Yeah, it's pennies then, isn't it?
season. Let's
3
say
million,
4 million. Okay.
4 million.
Um,
Yeah.
Pablo Marie, Stan.
I will say.
Jesus. Oof. What's your favorite flavor
Gary
of
just
pot
got
of pot?
fucking-
What's your favorite flavor of pot noodles? I like chicken and mushroom
I
personally.
was going to say
So I'll take a box of chicken and mushroom pot noodles.
Bellerin should have been sold shortly after he came back from injury. That's what we did with Eduardo. Okay,
His contract expires 2024.
What did we
Pablo
pay for
Marie.
Cedric for Pablo Marie? It was about 7 million, wasn't it? Or was it less?
I think it was less. Hold on.
Pablo
5
Marie, we
million?
bought him for about 10 or 12 million.
Really? As much as
Yeah.
that?
4.5.
4.5 million. Well, okay. Then we'll,
Wait, this one says-
we'd be lucky if we get 50% of that.
2 million, Stan, yeah.
We're not getting our money back, are we? That'd be nice if we get the 4 million back.
All right. I don't want to be the one deciding. I'm going to put 2 million down, though. Gary, Pablo Marie.
Someone tickling your feet off camera.
If he makes it on the plane, then we just wasted the return flight. We should get back at least
It's
that.
not where he was being tickled at, Stan.
Yeah,
Let's say 2 million.
Marie
for
is.
shits and giggles.
Yeah, I mean,
Shits
well,
and
like,
giggles, Tony.
I say
Well-
I say a free transfer and just let somebody.
Sure, I understand.
Oh fuck you, Australian
Oh,
series.
he's probably one player that I would probably sanction a free transfer. What's his salary now? What is he on?
Pablo Marie?
No. Oh no, I was talking about. Sorry, I was still thinking about Hector. Yeah, Pablo. I don't know. Just
Hector
What's he
is
on?
about 100,000 a week.
okay. What's Pablo Marie on?
Why not say 10 million for Pablo Marie?
Really?
Having us on, I think. Having us on a little
Yeah.
bit. All right.
Stan
Let's
wants me
roll
doing
on.
all kinds of research.
Let's roll on to Torreira while you're researching Torreira, Tony.
He cost us about 25 million, something around there,
Yes.
23 million, something like that.
We all feel Torreira will leave, right?
Yeah.
Lucas Torreira.
But
we
I-
also have 4 million for Mari. I think we can get 4 million. There is some interest.
Has Torreira improved as a player since we've had him? Since we paid 25 million from him? Has he
His-
improved?
Not with us, not with us
27
in the
million.
last few years, but on his loan.
27 million. Okay. Could we get 27 million back for him? Doesn't look like it.
No, 15.
Doesn't look like it.
18's his market value. We
we
want
are
about
not getting
16
anywhere
million
close
euros.
to that. Nowhere even close to that.
15
I'd
million euros. So
I will
take,
I will
I would
set-
take 18.
I will set 15, 18 from Stan.
I would take
Gary, you want to
18.
bring the price
We're
down?
not getting
I never said that's what we're getting though. But
We're
I'd
gonna
take
average
18.
it out.
Well, what's the point of this conversation if we're gonna? We're dreaming if we think we're gonna get anywhere over 10. for
Be a
him.
little bit realistic, Stan.
We're not
15
selling to an
million.
Italian
Come
club.
on.
Use
Surely
euros,
you had to
15
get
million
15,
euros.
15 million for Torreira. Surely.
15 million euros.
Surely.
Pounds.
7.5
But they wouldn't
million.
take 12 million for Xhaka, would they? So
No, nobody's buying our players for over 10.
Okay, so about 37 divided by 3.
Leno's a number
That's
one
12.
goalkeeper. We can't even get 10 for him.
Okay, so
Nobody else is a number one player that we're selling.
Give
right
us the value, Ray.
Tony,
7.5.
Tony, what's yours? We've got an average of 12 between.
I said
Gary,
15.
Stan,
15
and
million euros,
15
15 million
okay.
pounds. I don't
All
care what
right,
you put
so
it at.
13 million for Torreira.
No way.
1-3.
There's no way we're getting that.
I know, but it's a democratic vote between all of us. Gary,
You guys are wrong.
Gary doesn't like audience participation there.
All right,
Oh,
Gary. You want to sell Nicola Pepe, Gary. So,
well,
Nicola Pepe. You get to set the bar.
We'll be lucky to get 18. We'll be lucky to
this
get 18.
is one of those ones where I don't want to be reminded how much we paid for him.
Yeah.
Thanks. Don't say it, please.
They will be lucky not.
He's
We'll be
worth
lucky to get.
22.5.
I'm going 15. We're
Will
lucky
is
to
right.
get 15.
Our
Torreira
record
was their
signing.
player of the
Arsenal
season.
Football Club's record signing. That's who we're talking about.
He's got
Yes,
2
yeah.
years left. Got 2
They're
years
player
left.
of the season, and they want him to walk over for free.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yep.
The player
2
of the
years left,
season, I'm
20
like, no, we don't want to pay for him.
20
That's where
million,
Arsenal
right? He's
is.
got 2 years left.
How many years? 1 year left?
2.
2 years left. Okay. And there was some interest with Newcastle. Gary, what did you
And
say?
Leeds,
What
both
price?
of them interested.
For Pepe,
Yep, Nicola Pepe.
we'll be lucky to get 15.
Okay. Tony,
I said 20.
15 and 20. Stan,
See, I think we should be able to get 20 million for him, 25 million for him. We should be able to get at least one of the installments that we're paying for him. An installment is 25 million, right? It's ridiculous. 2 million.
I think roll is, I would go a
But-
little bit higher than that roll. 18,
But
19.
I'm actually thinking I'm with Rule. I think 18 is probably like that tip that we're going to
Okay.
get for him.
Do you
Now
think
think about it. We
That's
spent.
22, I think.
I agree with Rule between 15 to 18. Yeah,
How much did we spend on Nuno?
7.
7.
No,
And-
7 million.
And you know what? We might get a couple players at that level. Are they better than Nuno? Like level wise, like experience wise, not experience, but level wise, like talent wise.
Look at
Or
Marquinhos.
is his
He's gonna be
potential
better
so
than
great that it's worth?
Hodge.
Huh?
Said, look at Marquinhos. We got him for less than him. He'll be a better player.
So
Gary is right.
He's going to go
Gary
back to
is
the
right.
French league, right?
aren't
And they
getting
don't, have,
over
they
it.
don't have the dough, do they? They just don't have the dough. He's not going to Spain. He's not going to go to Italy, Pepe. He'll go back to France, and they just haven't got the dough, have they?
Unless Newcastle or Leeds go for him.
I think that he'd want to go back to France as well. I think he's probably had enough of the English experience.
Don't
Probably.
think of the 72 million, Stan. All right, so we have
Cheers,
Pepe,
Rob. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try not to.
18 million. We have Pepe. Okay, right now from those 5 players, got 16, 29 and 18 is 30, 47 million from those 5 players.
How much do you say? How much?
45 million.
47.
You know what? You know what we're gonna
Wishful
get? We're gonna
thinking.
get 22. That's what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Well, we have
But we move. We
calculated-
get rid of the wages, right? As well.
It'll be a little bit interesting to look back on this podcast to see if we're right. 47 million for Leno.
You're right. You're writing this down, right? You're gonna put it on
Bellerin. Yeah, Mari, Torreira, and Pepe. Gary, there's a couple other players. Who can you think of next?
You got Torreira. Got Nelson and Maitland-Niles. You got
Runerson.
Runerson. No, 0. Just move on. Anybody got more than
Runerson.
0? Sorry,
Free
anybody?
transfer. Free transfer.
With Runerson, I wouldn't
Right.
charge it. I wouldn't charge a fee for Runerson, and I would also be prepared to pay for the postage as well. So
All right, we've agreed. Runerson can go on a free. 40,000, I think we're paying him weekly.
He's worth a whopping 1
He's
million.
getting paid as much as Saka.
Yeah,
Think about that.
think about it.
Runerson is getting paid as much as Saka.
Madness.
BX said we better hurry up and get these deals done before All or Nothing. We're going to talk about All or Nothing
Oh, fuck
in a little
yeah.
bit. Hopefully, you saw that extended trailer now, about 90 seconds. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Pepe should be 40 million. Poor asset management.
True.
This is the thing. We have an asset. Should have been played. Pepe should be played. Maybe he stays with the club this season. Who knows?
Who?
I don't
Playing.
know. Why?
Pepe?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not worked out, has it? It's not happened. He's
What?
not. He's our record
140,000
signing
a
rate.
week.
This is our record signing, man. It's just not. It's not happened, is it? It's not happened.
No.
I wish I could scrub that out of the history books. Record signings, Nicholas.
It's sad. I think there's a
Ray,
cover there.
it's like that. It's like
Unreal.
that phrase. She said no.
Gary,
No. Just
So-
no.
I will defend a lot about Arteta, but I can't defend not using one of our biggest assets.
You promised
And
me he'll
what
do
we
it this
paid.
year.
But he's not very good.
No, but you need
He hasn't played.
goals. You need goals late in the game, and you don't want to take him off the bench. That's right there.
Yeah.
The indictment on him.
Yep.
Like
Because
I
he comes
need
on
goals.
sometimes and
I don't
it's
even need you to play
really
defense.
bad.
I don't want you to track back. I want you to score a goal because guess what? We're losing anyways. If we
Okay.
lose 3-1, it's okay. But I need
Yep.
to get that goal to get the draw. Nope, I'm not going to bring him on.
We should have tried Pepe as a striker. Well, I'm just saying he's not left the club yet. We'll see.
Murray's on 85,000 a week.
What have we got till
Damn.
the end of? When does the
85
window
for him.
close,
Oh my
Tony? When
gosh.
does the window close? The end of August.
Yeah.
So we got 4 solid weeks that the league, 3 solid weeks. The league will be playing games.
As
when the
soon
window
as All or
closes.
Nothing comes on, nobody's buying any of our players. As
Oh,
was
it's gonna be
quoted.
so edited.
Gary,
Nobody's ever seen it.
We've got 47 million. Can we bump it up a little bit? Who else can we sell? Nelson, Reece Nelson.
3.
You want to keep him or you want to sell him? 3.
3.
I'm gonna go.
If you're telling me
5.
if we're gonna get like, if we're gonna tell me we can get Tielemans for all the players we sell, I'll take it.
Do it. Yeah, we can get Tielemans for half of that, I believe. If we sell Pepe and Leno, sell Pepe and Leno, you can get Tielemans. Okay, I'm at 5. You're at 3. That's an average of 4. Tony,
I'm keeping
Nelson,
him.
Reece Nelson, you're keeping him.
Yep.
Okay, that's fair. He may be an option, Gary. He may be an option.
You know what? I don't like this, like keeping players and not playing them, especially now.
We have Europa League.
We have so many games to play.
5.
If you're not going to play them, then you can't keep them. And he's shown that he will not play players. And I'll let him go on.
Well, maybe I'll come to his senses, Gary.
I would
Reece
sell
Nelson.
Nelson. Yeah, but how many senses how many senses does he have left?
Why not? How much? Honestly, why not? Give us a realistic value without trying to be too high or too low. Give us a realistic value you think Nelson will sell for. Rule is set 5. I think we're pretty much at the average of 5. So 5 million for Reece Nelson. Fair, Gary?
Worth 5.5.
I said 3, so
You said 3 and I said 5. And Rule
Oh.
bumped it up to 5 on the average.
Tony's gonna keep him. sit on
Tony
the bench
says
and-
keep, sell, or loan. Tony's keeping.
I really don't. I want Arteta to have.
Me and
players-
Ray fucked up with a Wobie, so I'll take a gamble on.
All right, Tony, you get to start off on Ainsley, Maitland-Niles.
I wish they would use him. I think he'd be a good backup. But 8 million?
8 million for Ainsley.
Yeah, his contract ends at the end of the season.
I think I can be convinced for 8 million. Let me say 10, Gary. I'll say 10. Average of 9. Gary?
Gary's like, fuck you guys. I'm going to go 5.
Exactly. Well, 7.5. I was gonna be nice. I kind of feel like, dude, we will pay you to play where we want you to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to go anywhere and then play unless he's going to go to like tier 2 league somewhere, you know?
But
Why not
Arteta's telling
set-
he's not playing.
Why not set 10 for Reece Nelson? So I'm going to bump that from 5 to 6.
Mm-mm.
We're getting 6 million for Nelson. Why not? And Lumbercamp, tell me what you think about Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We have him at 8 million right now. And Gary, think about any other players on the squad. You've been talking about 8 to 10 players. Now's your time to bring your list.
Come on, Gary.
Pressure's on,
Go this
Gary.
way.
No,
Go this
I'm
way,
going
Gary.
to.
Got to be realistic, Tony. He's probably not going anywhere. Lumbercamp said if Liverpool were selling Nelson, they'd get 20 for him. No doubt Liverpool do. I would love to keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles as rule, but the coach seems to have other
I
ideas.
believe
So
Hector's
8
worth
million.
18 million.
There was one passage of play yesterday. Ainsley Maitland-Niles tried to find Pepe. He passed it right to the right back. I was like, that's it.
He put nothing on it. If he put a little pressure on it, it would have split. It would have split the defenders, and then if his play could, I think the goalkeeper may have got there because he waited too long. But it's one of those things where it's got to go now, and it was so late, and it was so just not a good pass that it killed everything there.
BX said he flopped at Roma. Even Jose has seen his poor display.
Jose put him at right back to start his first game that he played for them.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Wing
He
back.
leaves.
I think he was right wing back.
Was it wing back? But
Yep.
still, not where he wants to play. All right.
Okay. Ainsley Maitland-Niles brings 8. Nelson brings 6. That's another 14. It is 61 million now.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking at the list of players, and the only other ones is Xhaka and Cedric, right?
So we got Leno.
Oh, did we go through Tavage? He's going to go on loan, probably.
He's going to go on loan.
But Cedric would be the only other one, I guess, based on the list that I have.
Yeah.
Players, right?
I don't think we're selling Cedric.
But Runnerson can go for free. Tavares can go on loan.
Yeah.
Nelson, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So we have 9 players. 7 of them being sold, 1 going free, and 1 going on loan. And those 9, Tony will free up some spots for another player coming in toward the end of the window.
Yeah, that should be 2. What does that give us? 23?
So there is a lot of work to be done in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it should have been done already.
This
should have been sorted out way a long time ago.
This is the stage where these players will move now in these 2 weeks, hopefully. And it may even go into the season.
I think it's a go until after the season starts.
We hate that it's going to go into the season, but it may happen. His first game was against Juventus. He had a great game. Then
when do we officially have to put in the 25? 3 weeks after the season starts?
Premier League?
Is it after the window closes? Is that when it?
Not sure. Somebody could tell us that maybe.
I would find it weird that you can have a window open and then you have to designate your squad.
Yeah, Makes I can't remember.
Sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's
right?
Probably after the window.
Because that would mean when Partey joined us, he wasn't, he joined us on the last day. Is it Funyun's time?
No, sorry, I was doing on Alonso there. Let me just mute my mic while you chat.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Alonso couldn't join us tonight, but he's maybe coming in.
Are you sure you're not doing a Mr. Tom? Mr. Tom just does it as loud as possible.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles may stay as homegrown player, but it's the numbers. It's all about the numbers rule. We have to manage the players going out as much as the players.
William Saliba's a homegrown player now and all.
Yes. Yeah.
It's pretty handy.
So Stan, we've already done it, so you don't get to get it. You don't get to vote now. Ainsley Maitland-Niles 8 million, Nelson for 6 million.
I mean, I take what I can for either of those two, but it's a dangerous game, right? Because we're setting a precedent, aren't we? It was only on this show a couple of weeks ago, flabbergasted that Bert Leno went cap in hand asking if his contract can be ripped up. So we don't want to start doing that. But then if we let players go at low ball money, But then, as I mentioned earlier, a bid came in for Xhaka. He was flirting with Mourinho. It wasn't like a one-way transaction. He wasn't sort of like saying, "I don't want to go." He looked up for it. They offered 12 million. We said no. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on who you are, right?
Who are you?
you know what? The one, I don't know if we're going to get into it, but I did watch Jacques' video interview.
Another one.
He did another
Another
one.
one. Bloody hell.
Did another one. I watched.
Xhaka, the sequel.
So
Just when you thought it
feel
was
so
safe.
loved,
And
Gary.
basically,
Feel so
he
loved.
said he was, he's, it sounded like they were up for him leaving. And then when he got somebody who was interested, they said, no, we want to keep you.
Is
He
this
was,
the first time around or the second time around? Because the first time was Hertha Berlin, right?
No, I think this is Roma.
Oh yeah, Hertha
More
Berlin.
recently,
Yeah,
Roma.
Yeah,
Well,
I think this is Roma. So
Wow.
I don't know why he's doing. I don't know why he's doing videos.
Did you know the advert for the Amazon Prime? Did you know it says he's a very sarky comment? He says something happens. He goes, "Don't
I
worry,
take it
lads.
off.
I'll take the blame for everyone." And I
Yeah.
just thought, "Oh, cheeky bastard."
So listen, that's on the agenda. So let's talk about that. Extended Prime video, All or Nothing, the documentary, and we've calculated incomings to be 61 million. It'll be fun. A little bit fun as these players move on. We do want them to find clubs, right? And we do want our club to get some money for them. So let's see if we can recoup 61 million
How much have we spent so
I
far?
don't care where they go.
English pounds.
How much have we spent so far this window?
65 on the City Boys, another 35 on Vieira.
115.
Mm.
115 and change. It's a little bit.
120.
But
Add that to the 220 Mikel Arteta's already spent, so he's up to about 330.
And then add Partey, and you're like 380 plus whoever else we brought in that window.
Oh yeah, the Thomas Partey, I think I've added in there. Was added into my figure.
Right, 115. Yeah, we've gone through this already. Basically,
Not shabby.
I'm not going to give myself a pat in the back, but kind of the figures I was talking about with Zinchenko was 30 million, right? So, well done, right?
No, it's not over yet, is it?
No, it's not over yet. But I do
still think we get 3 more in.
One thing to say is that Arsenal have negotiated pretty decent reductions for some of these players. Is that fair to say, Gary?
What do you mean by that? I guess I'm not sure what you're trying to
Gabriel Jesus for 45 million. We probably
A little bit over.
I get that. You see, you saved money on Jesus, but then I believe you spent a lot on Vieira. You know,
but we could have.
If I told you
that price down, Gary.
if I told you you could take the Vieira money and get Paqueta, would you do that? Because we're going to spend anywhere. Because we're going to spend 30. We're going to spend over 30 for him if we were to get him. But if I said, you know what, no Vieira, you get Paqueta. You were like,
Definitely.
would you miss Vieira? No, you wouldn't.
No,
but 34 million was always a reach for him. 34
it's
million.
It's a case of, to Mikel Arteta, a player is probably worth what a club who's buying thinks he's worth, and will value him at. So in Mikel Arteta's eyes, he must have felt that for what he's getting for this player, who I know nothing about, is worth that amount, right? I mean, that's how you have to look at it. I'm not, rightly or wrongly.
A player for Porto that's been playing well, Stan, he could be a different player playing in our team. We don't know.
Stanley Cazorla.
But he was off the bench, though. It wasn't even a starter.
He played a lot of minutes, though, didn't he?
Played the second half.
Yeah, when
22 and a half is what
when Luis left, right? That's when he started playing. Like for me, I'm saying Paqueta is more of a known quantity, right? I believe my understanding is he's a known quantity, just like Savic is.
Are they very similar then? Do you think? Are they Paqueta and Vieira? Are they very similar players then? Is that what we're saying? Like a similar mold.
and
Paqueta
Vieira
starts for us.
Yeah.
I don't think Vieira starts for us. Like when he shows up, he's starting for us,
Yeah.
right? If Savic
This is the
comes,
depth.
if Savic were to play for us, he's starting, right? You're not bringing him in and not starting him, right? So for me, when the players are more likely to be starters for you, and the other ones are we have to wait and see, right? We still have to wait and see if Vieira is going to be. He might be worth 60, but our our history on getting players healthy is really poor. So the man's injured already. The chances that he comes back healthy are lower than in most squads, right?
So listen,
22 and a half is what he's
we
valued
shall
at.
see what happens with Fabio Vieira. Yeah, listen, he came into the Porto side when Luis Diaz moved to Liverpool. Liverpool were looking at the player as well. Let's not forget, Liverpool were looking at Vieira. Look, Jesus savings, LOL. No, right? We didn't. Jesus for 45. We were struggling for 10 million for anyone. Jesus, I think we negotiated the price down a little bit. That's a 50 plus.
It was 10. It was 10 off whatever the number was.
10 off, right?
So I don't know what that number was.
A year to go on his contract.
Yeah.
Mane
I think
went for a
45
similar amount, didn't
I
he?
think 45 is fair.
We did the same for
Mane went for a
Zinchenko.
similar amount, didn't he?
Zinchenko's going to be a
He
good
went for
player.
26.
30
Mane?
million.
Yeah, he went for
I thought he went for
26 million.
46 million. He went for 26.
Yeah. Let me double check.
Talk about pissing my chips, Tony.
Let me go double check.
Oh,
So listen, I think we negotiated. We could have activated the release clause for
who?
Vieira. We negotiated that price down to 31.5.
what was his release clause?
I think it was closer to 40. We saved about 10 million with Vieira.
No, I like I said,
28 is what they paid for him.
for me,
Byron
if we're
got him for
spending,
28. He's worth 63.
yeah, if we're spending over 30, that player needs to be one who I would expect us to be able to start for us, no problem. You know what I mean? Like Luis, is it? You said Luis or Diaz, right? He
Luis
comes
Diaz.
in and he's part of the rotation. He can start for them immediately, right? That's what he did. So Vieira, for me, he would if he costs the same as like a Luis Diaz, then he needs to be able to start for us. So we'll see if that's the case, but I don't believe so. But we'll see.
I
Hope so.
just feel we've done a couple of things where we've gotten Jesus a little bit cheaper, Vieira a little bit cheaper,
I don't think so.
Zinchenko a little bit cheaper.
I think we're all about market
So
value.
do you not think that what we paid for Jesus was the going rate? Do you think?
I think so.
Do you think the going rate for Jesus is more than what we would have paid?
Yeah, I think
Really?
50 million.
No, he's what 24, 25. You still got another 6
Yeah.
years
Player in
out
his
of him.
prime, he's won
He had
more
12 months
Premier
left
League.
on his deal. He had 12
Really?
months left.
I know it was a year left on his deal. Yeah, exactly. But listen, why not?
45 is what transfer market has. I think it's
If the
fair.
price is 30, 35 million, a lot more clubs would have been looking for him as well. So
I think 45 is fair.
price would have been driven up. Well, listen, that's that. I think we want to talk about the all or nothing for a few minutes, right?
Do we? I can care less. It's going to be so heavily.
So you didn't
I'll be
think
I'll be
there was
quick if
anything
you want. I'll be very
interesting there,
I'll be very quick. And I've said it before. My only thing is about this is if I was Arsenal, I would have said, yeah, you can make your film, but the condition is that this is aired before we kick a ball when the season starts.
I don't like
I
how
don't
it's stretched over
understand why
3 weeks.
it couldn't have been shown in this period now. Let us, dilute it, get angry because it's going to bring up a load of old shit that we don't need, and then we get it to simmer down before the season kicks off. It's going to be a distraction. That's my only thing.
Especially over 3 weeks. It's stretched over 3 weeks. So.
It's a distraction. We
Shout
don't.
out to Darren for joining us. Thanks for seeing you once again,
Hey,
Darren.
Darren.
Right, Darren?
Good.
Darren lives.
It's good that you are back. It's great to see you, Darren. So keep coming back, and of course,
Rule, I hope you're right about Vieira, and if he can sit Erdegaard on the bench,
that's a player.
that's a good thing. And it's not necessarily he sits him; it's more like Arteta has choices now.
Listen, I want 5 or 6 midfield players that we can plug in and are going to score a decent amount of goals. We can argue 8 to 10, 12 goals.
8 to 10 for who?
for 4 or 5 players. That's what I want. This is
I
what
mean,
City is
we should
doing,
be
guys.
improving, and that should be easy, right? We got 10 from at least we got 10 and over
You get
from
over
Mills
10
Fro and
from
Saka, right?
both of
You
our
got
forwards.
7 from Martinelli. That she should be able to get close to 10. You got Mills Fro, but you got Erdegaard who got like 5 or 6. That should improve. You got to have a Jesus who's going to give you over 10. I mean, you got 5 players potentially that can get you 10 goals.
What
If
about
we
the
are
new guy?
improving.
You're leaving off a new guy.
And what?
You're leaving off a new guy. A new attacking mid.
Zinchenko?
No, attacking mid, Gary.
Who?
We just talked about it.
You think Vieira's going to get us 10 goals in the Premier League?
Oh, you said 6, 7 goals for
I
everybody else.
didn't
You're
say
giving
for
them numbers.
him. I said we're going to get
How
at
many
least
is he
50. Huh?
How many is he getting then?
I don't know what he can do for us. That's my concern.
Yeah, Roll will agree with Gary. Does say this, and we are all concerned about Partey's position. One injury changes everything here, Gary.
And that's my
and if
concern.
it's
That's why I'm like, you know what? You've
extended
got
injury.
you got Zinchenko who gives us cover, but you don't have any cover for Partey, right? We need somebody who can sit in the middle of the pitch and do a job. We don't have any of that.
Tony, Zinchenko is by trade an attacking midfielder. Yes, and he's going to go as far as the top of the box, but his interchange 1-2s with players is going to be very important.
He's a central midfielder by trade.
Many have said City would not have won that last game of the season. Remember the last day of the season? City were 2-0 down with 20-some minutes to go. Zinchenko was important in helping to get 3 goals for City. Stan, what makes you think that All for Nothing documentary will in any way reflect the truth, not be another PR powder puff fluff?
That's all I think it's going to be.
I never said it's going to portray the truth. What I said is that it's going to be a distraction because, as we've already seen in the very short trailer, it's going to be dragging up a lot of old news, right? Stuff that we don't need to be going over it again, right? Yeah. The Aubameyang situation is the main one, right? Before that, there might even be something about Ozil for we know, stuff like that. Just stuff that. They've gone over the Tavares being subbed at half time. We saw in the clip very quickly.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like this which caused a lot of dissension through the fan base. We've now sort of just laid it to rest, and we're looking forward to looking at all of our new shiny toys, giving everybody a fresh slate and wishing them well to start the season. And then we're going to have all of this discord again. That's what bothers me. There's going to be this discord. It's going to be brought up, and everyone's going to come back in with their opinions about all that stuff again, and it's going to cloud the important start to this season. So what I'm saying is that if I was Arsenal and I would have agreed to it, the condition is it's aired and out of the way before the season starts, because there's plenty of time between that season finishing and this to get it edited and done.
Yeah, and that's why they've timed it for the start of the season, I'm sure. Rule agrees with you, Stan. I think the All or Nothing going to open old wounds, not right for the start of the season.
Exactly.
The interesting part that I'm going to Tony, I'll go to you then in a second. The interesting thing for me is to see how Arteta in particular and how the players maybe deal with these situations.
You don't want to know that because you're going to be scared.
No.
If you get the true view, because I watched it on the pitch. So if you
what's going on behind closed doors.
Did you not see what was on the pitch? You think that doesn't epitomize what was happening behind the scenes?
So you're willing to make statements now based on something you haven't seen?
I'm willing, based on the results. Yes. So the results showed me that
2 sides of the story. But
you're on the other side thinking everything's going to be nice and pretty, and all. So we're both making assumptions and opinions based on nothing we can back up. But I can tell you from what I saw on the pitch, that some of that comes from what you don't see. Remember, we keep saying, well, we don't see what happens in practice. We don't see what happens behind closed doors. Well, we see the results of it. So something is going on behind doors, and then we look on the pitch and we see it.
Okay. but you're not willing to wait and see how that is happening.
I don't need to see it. It's gonna either it's gonna be like they said powder puffed, or it's gonna be in a like that. Well, I knew that.
You don't need to see it because you've already made up your mind.
I've seen the results of it.
How do you know?
I probably
don't you
watch
want
it.
to know how it happened?
No, I really don't.
You're not
I
gonna see how
really
it
don't
happened,
want
right?
to. I will watch
Okay.
it, but I don't really want to.
Okay.
It's not gonna. It's gonna. If it proves me
Gary
right,
will
or
be
proves-
unavailable for comment in the month of August.
I did not. I said I would see. Look at it. I said I
Didn't you
don't
say
need
that,
to.
Tony?
I said I don't need to. You
Listen,
need
Gary,
to.
don't comment on it.
Gary,
Just me, Ray, and
When
Stan.
something happens, you want to understand how it happened.
I know we're crap behind the scenes. We're crap in front of the scenes. We're crap.
We're not crap.
That's what we
We
saw.
are not Southampton.
We
we are
lost
not-
5 out of the last 10 games
We are not.
for a particular reason.
We did not come 17. Sorry, Mr. Tom. We did not come 17. Shots fired. Tony,
How many of his scenes look either staged or knowing the camera was there, playing towards the camera?
I'll
From
say
what I've
one
seen?
thing that I noticed, right? You know the bit where Arteta goes, Arsenal Football Club has decided that Aubameyang is
It
no
seemed
longer
very
the
staged,
captain,
didn't it, Stan?
and then you see Lacazette go, "Wow." I'm not sure whether that's from the same scene. You know, it could be other things, but they put it together
yeah, they cut it together. Yeah,
to
But
get
didn't
these.
point.
that part look staged though? Like
That's
he
the
knew
point
the
of a
camera
trailer,
was
though.
playing to a camera there.
Well, you got to put it this way.
It didn't seem authentic.
I mean, put it. How can anyone be authentic when you've got a camera crew? You know, you're aware of what you're doing or what you're saying, right?
We're
Because you know the
authentic right
camera
now.
crew's there.
We're being
Yeah, but
authentic right now. There's a camera right on us.
Yeah, but we come on here for an
We don't
hour,
give a
a
fuck.
couple of
But
hours,
we're
right?
not, we're not holding back, right?
I'm talking
Do we
about
hold back?
constantly-
We're not holding back.
Do any
I
of us
think
hold
it's-
back?
I
Right?
don't. My point of view is
I do.
the
My
cameras are
language.
there. I don't think anybody's acting differently because the cameras are there.
I don't. I
I think on that documentary it is
Yeah,
It
so that's me and Gary.
staged and
agree-
contrived to me.
Me and Gary agree on something. Tony and Stan agree also, but we differ. The top two and the bottom.
We're not really going to know until we see it, right?
Yeah.
And it's we've seen a very quick edited. This is basically Drive to Survive. You know what I'm saying? It's all very
We've
quick.
seen about
edited.
3 minutes
Well,
of it.
You
I
know,
will
that-
say one
We've
thing,
seen
Gary.
clips of Arteta in his garden. So the camera crew's been in his home. do you know what I mean? It's like keeping up with the fucking Kardashians, right? So you're aware. You're going to make sure that all the camera crews come in. Make sure you've got the right dress on, darling. Make sure the kids, have brushed all their hair. Do you know what I mean? And let's fucking hoover up, and you know what I mean.
I agree with Gary. It doesn't fucking matter
Yeah.
because we've seen what happened on the pitch.
For all we
Okay.
know, it's probably not even his house. It's probably some rented
Yeah,
house
so-
that they just for the location
Tony-
for the
Tony,
day.
Tony, can I ask you
Probably not
one
even his
question?
kids.
Fire away, Ray.
So when Arsenal concede a goal, do you want to blame one specific person when Arsenal loses a goal, right?
Australian Sherry said yes.
What does Tony say?
On what? Blame one
If
person?
Arsenal concede a goal, you want to blame one specific person.
what kind of
Defending.
question is that?
Well, hold on, don't come to his defense. This is Tony I'm
How do
talking.
you know where you're going with it? That's why I'm
If you
confused.
watched the watch along last
What
night,
I'm
you would have seen
saying,
my
what I'm
answer.
listen. This is what I'm saying. If Arsenal concede a goal, you want to blame one person.
I blame multiple people.
In the
I blame
documentary,
whoever's at fault.
yeah, okay, you're going to blame whoever's at fault. Don't you want to look at the
I blamed
documentary
3
and blame?
players yesterday for the goal yesterday. So
All right, can I speak now?
I answered
You've
your
got a mute
question.
button, Ray.
I blamed three
Just
three
take
players
one.
for the goal yesterday.
Okay.
Get by Gary.
Did he blame 3 players? Okay. So you looked at that logically, Tony, and you apportioned blame logically, right? I feel weird saying that, right? When you look
Tony
at,
and logic. It just doesn't
when you
make
look at
sense.
this all or nothing documentary, you're going to look at it logically. And if Arteta's not to blame, you're going to say it wasn't Arteta, right?
We already know he's blamed. He's a fucking manager.
Well, there you go. You've made up your mind already. And listen, if you surround yourself with negativity, then you will be negative about things. And that's all I'm saying about it. I think you need to look at the facts, look at the documentary, see what.
Well,
it
if it's
is
for
about.
players and fucking sack
And-
them all.
and I would say as well, when
You
you
have to make up your mind now.
when you look at this, right, you've got to remember that this has been filmed over a period of several months. So I would say pay attention to how maybe your favorite players or players you don't like or the manager, how they are at the beginning to how they are towards the end. Because psychologists say that if someone's pretending to not be who they really are, you can only keep up the pretense for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
6 weeks, it gets very different to
I haven't
continue to
watched
be
do
something that
all
you're
or
not.
nothing's go on the timeline, Gary, or do they skip them out?
I haven't watched any
Has to
of
be on
them.
a
So.
timeline.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It's this whole season, right?
Yeah, it has to be on a timeline. You actually tweeted out, Tony, the rotation, so you should know yourself. Right?
I know
Didn't
when
he?
they come out, but I don't know if it's.
Well, it is.
Oh,
It is.
seasons.
Sorry, Tony. But
I
listen,
don't know how it's
Gary
ended.
and Tony especially,
throughout the season.
don't make up your
go in
mind
order.
before you even see it. That's all I'm saying. Don't make up your mind. Sounds like you two have already made up your minds, and that's not right.
We see
Sorry.
what happened on the pitch.
I don't know where you're going with this, Ray.
Who's
I
the
don't know.
manager?
You haven't got the
Players
full
aren't
picture, Gary, and I think you should.
Use somebody else.
you know,
maybe.
but
Yeah,
it-
question, guys. And BX Gunner raised a good point when he says this season will be a relief for the players without cameras in their faces. They can concentrate on football.
Yeah.
Do you think having the camera crew around
I
and
don't
making
think
that
it was much of a
documentary was
don't think it's
in
much of a
any way
distraction.
damaged our
Yeah.
chances?
Gary definitely thinks so.
I never.
don't think-
We're the guy's coaching for the first time in his life at a really big club, and also now you've got cameras in front of him, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to act
Well,
There are
himself.
always cameras
No,
around.
there's no way. There's
Yeah.
no way. He's either tempering himself, or he's really, like you said, he notices the camera, so he's got to do things a certain way. No,
There's always
Wait, yeah.
cameras around.
It must have been an effect, man. It must have.
it's
Yeah.
a.
And
it
and
was-
Gary, you said it. I didn't think of it that not only was it having the cameras, but you're right. He had all that other shit going on for the first time as a manager, and COVID, pandemics, lockdowns,
Yeah.
all of that, new to the job. And then he's like, okay, I'm just going to settle in. There's a knock at the door, and opens, there's a camera crew. He's like, did no one tell you about this? He's like, what? Who? Yeah, we're doing this fucking Netflix thing, man. Or
Come on,
Amazon
they
Prime.
film his
mean,
reaction.
let's get through a few
It
comments
must have
because
He's used
harmed
to
us.
cameras. They're all used to cameras.
let's get through a few comments because we
Must
got
have
hung
harmed
up.
us.
I just
Didn't
think
think of that.
I got hung up on me saying to two of you, you should watch.
You
it.
just don't want us to blame Arteta when he's the manager.
Listen, I'll be the first to say he's to blame.
No,
I-
we all
I'm-
know this. We all know this starts at the top, right, Ray? It just trickles down, and the only person right now that can make any difference is Arteta. Right now, the only
Okay.
person that it
The
is.
players aren't doing what they're supposed to. They should be
He's
benched
the-
to play
he's
somebody else.
He's the last
If
straw.
the players aren't doing what they're doing, that's
Go to
all
the
on
youth
Arteta,
players.
right?
Yeah,
Go
if
to
you
the
can't,
youth
if you're
players.
bringing
Got
in
nothing to
players
do
and
with
they
the
won't,
players.
if you bring in
If you
players
think
and they
they're
don't
doing
listen
their
to you,
job,
then you've
go
done a
to the
bad
next
job.
one in line, right?
Ray,
Wow.
come on. If you bring
Could you
in somebody
imagine-
to work at your job, work for you,
What
and
happens
they
to
won't
you at
listen
work
to
if
you,
you're-
and they don't trust you, they don't have confidence in you, then you picked the wrong guy, and you need to do better at analyzing the people you bring into your company, right? Same thing with Arteta. He's looking at these players, and every time they let him down. He brings William, lets him down.
Oh, William, you keep
backs
coming
up-
with William.
backs up-
Change that record.
Yeah.
Come on.
He backs up all these
It was
players. They let him
We
down.
moved on from William. That's like 2 seasons ago now, Gary.
Pick a player last year. They let him
Wasted
down.
a fortune
But-
on the guy for 1 year.
Imagine that though, right? You've got the North London derby coming up. That game that everybody was, waiting to get to, the cancelled game. You've got a lot of players that it's their first North London derby as well. And on top of that, you've got the cameras. That part, maybe some of those games. The more I think about this, and I'd like to know what you guys in the chat think. If you think that the Amazon Prime affected where we ended up last season, and I'm not looking at it as I never like to make excuses. I hate that. I don't even use referees as excuses, but the more I think about it, and Gary really highlighted it to me about where Mikel Arteta was as a manager at that period, fresh as you like, fresh as a daisy, COVID, all
How
that
many
other stuff
chances
going
did
on.
we have to seal it up, Stan? How many chances?
Not a good decision, but
We have
whoever
the
done
Spurs
that.
game, Newcastle.
Looking
they don't
more,
have
think
chances
not a good
to seal it up.
decision.
Yeah. And listen, I will say no more cameras, no more documentaries. It's that
We always
I-
got cameras, Ray. We got the manager reaction, the sounds of a game. They're always cameras.
Yeah, but
There's
this is a
nothing new
different.
to
This
it.
is different. This is
Different.
really different, Tony, man.
This is because it's
different.
being broadcast a year later. Come on. I don't care.
Thunder Road said the entire trailer looks staged. Arteta raising his voice, throwing things around. It's Love Island, folks.
Yeah.
So listen,
But it's funny, but he's
But-
throwing a
But as a
fit.
fan, right, I remember watching the Tottenham one and pissing myself at certain moments because of how stupid and funny it was, right? And maybe there were Arsenal players that watched that and did the same. And now they've realised that, hold on a minute, I'm now going to be the fucking focus of ridicule. I've got to watch what I say, watch what I do, because anything could be open to some kind of ridicule, right? So, I mean, especially if some of these players were new, right? New to this kind of a league, new to this platform, playing for the first team in
I
Arsenal.
will
and
say when Why
difficult.
Not says things like this allows players to sack managers all over the country. If you just apportion all of the blame to the manager and players cross that white line and don't have responsibility for their own actions and how they play on a Sunday or a
And if
Saturday.
okay, but all right, I hear what you're saying, but if they don't follow your instructions over and over and over again, who's to blame? Because we're not seeing it one time.
Yeah.
We're not seeing, oh, this is a blip. We're seeing
Well,
consistent
Gary,
mistakes
I'm
over and
close.
over and over again. And at that point, it is the manager's fault because he keeps choosing people, putting them in the situations where they cannot handle it,
Well,
And
expecting
you have
something
said,
different to
You're
happen.
on
he
record,
took
Gary,
action with Ozil and he took action with Aubameyang when they weren't doing what you said.
But
They weren't
Gary,
scared to
you're
do
on
different
record
moves.
as saying we
After multiple
overachieved
times
last
by each
season.
player.
We overachieved last season, Gary.
Yeah,
No, we
and
didn't.
You have said that.
We didn't
I
overachieve.
said when I did my range, it was 5 through 7 is what I said, and that's on the high end of what
Right, and that's the high end of what you expected, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for you, Arteta.
But it changed, right? It did change when we had an
could have scored
opportunity.
the exact
It did
same
change
points
when we
and
had an
finished in the
opportunity to
same
get
position.
third, right?
Yes.
So when somebody puts an opportunity in front of you and you don't take it, then I think you've let yourself and your team down, right? That's what happened.
When you're setting
Because
up
think about
fourth
it. Think
every
about
year,
this. If you think about this, if you go into a situation where you have opportunities, the team gives you screamers right in front of the goal, sitters right in front of the goal, and you don't take them, you can't go, oh well, you know what, we weren't supposed to score anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, it does matter because you don't know when those opportunities come. You got to take it. We did not take it. We did not take it, and that is actually a negative on.
I think we overachieved to such a point that we should have been nailed on for top 4, and we didn't. You're right, Gary. We didn't take it. I feel the cameras affected the team at the initial stages. Tony, yeah, you've been waiting maybe impatiently, but you've been waiting.
Impatiently. First off, what was our record with final 11 games?
Not good. I think we lost like 3 games or 2.
In a word, Tony. In a word, Tony. Shit.
Lost 6, won 5, Ray.
I still have it.
Where were we at the New Year's? We were in 4th. If we had finished the same points the last season, the previous season, we would have finished 5th with 57 points. The top teams were struggling. United was struggling. Chelsea was struggling.
It was probably at that point in the season when the Amazon people were like, you know what, this is fucking. So far, this documentary is boring. Why don't we siphon some of Aubameyang's petrol out? He'll be late for Derby Day. That would be fucking great. It's Amazon all along. Do you know what I mean?
Look to Tony's point. To Tony's point, Stan divvied up the season here. The last 12 games, 36 points available. We only got half of those points.
That's not good, right?
Nope. No, that's terrible. 1.5.
Those patches where we had those clumps of those losses. Do you remember, like the losses and all of that? They remember those little clumps. Maybe without the cameras and all of that fucking circus going on, you do better in those lean times, right? You're able to do better. And you remember, this is the youngest team in the league, man, and they're dealing with all this fucking hoopla. Sideshow, all this hot dogging and grandstanding going on around them.
So we lost 6 of a final 11 because of
each one of those strings of losses was to a big 4 team, big 5 team, whatever you want to call it. Each
the
one of
pressure was
those
on.
each one of those segments there was a loss to either City or Liverpool in
Yeah.
each one of them. I mean,
Yeah,
and you know
Not
what?
the last one.
If that not the 3 in a row, you're right. But then we did lose to that team a couple of games later, right? So, but for me, if this was a true season and you lost the way we did to City, well, City was at the end of their streak, but when we lost to Liverpool, right, the first time,
Hmm.
nah, that can't happen to us again, right? And then, we're not going to have cameras in here because there's no way I can say what I got to say. Somebody in that locker room's got to be pissed, right?
yeah.
Got to be
Uh,
pissed,
I
right?
think
We lost really, really poorly in that January stretch, right? It can't happen, right? You can't lose those games like that, right?
the
So
cup games you're talking about, right?
yeah, they
And
kind of
league
just
games.
yeah.
We weren't doing good in the league either.
BX Gunner said, I feel with a young, experienced team and manager, to have all access cameras distracts from the end goal.
Yeah, you got to.
And with his season stands.
Can you imagine if
6-1-1.
Guendouzi was still in the team with all them cameras and that, be running around like doing funny faces and do you know what I mean?
Sideshow Bob.
There's
Yeah.
such a wide range of opinions here. The cameras had no effect. They are professional athletes. They should.
they don't
should
have
be able to
cameras
keep
on
in mind.
them 24/7 like that. Why not? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but not like that. Not in the locker room. Not that's going to go out to the masses. The threat that anything that you put on tape can go out to the masses.
And-
That's not that.
Yeah.
Even though it's indirectly in the back of your mind. Look, and especially if you laughed at the last one, right? If you laughed at the last one, then you're like, damn, that's going to be one of us.
Exactly. And it's imposing, and it's supposed to be imposing. It's not like the guys watching training filming. This is imposing. They're in there listening to, you're in a team talk. You're going through a slump. You're in the middle of that 3-game loss to teams that you should be beating,
Yeah.
and you're in there and you're frustrated, and the manager's in there frustrating. Maybe you want to say something, but you decide not to say something because the cameras are there.
Steven
I'm
said
getting at,
we didn't overachieve. We did lose another 13 games, same as last season. The only thing we did was to turn 4 draws into wins. If you really want to encapsulate the season on season, we changed 4 draws into wins, give us eight extra points. We were in the hunt because our rivals underachieved. Man United, one of them.
But you know what? Nobody.
Leicester won the league.
It's never going to be. It's not on average. It's not going to be everybody was perfect this season, right? There's always going to be a slip here and there.
There's going to be shuffling.
So there's always going to be an opportunity for you to take advantage, and that's what I mean. Like when the chance comes, you got to take it because it's not offered to you tomorrow. It's sitting right in front of your face. You have it. As soon as we had a 4-point lead. Right, and all we had to do was win one of those 3 games, and then we can go into the North London Derby and lose it and still win. Right? Give me 3 points out of 3 games. that's how easy it was.
Yeah,
that's the difference right there. Give me 3.
Well, I
out
never
of
thought
3,
of it like that, Gary. That's fucking
fine
so
margins, Gary.
and then let's figure it out because think about it. If you got 3 points, you go into the United and Chelsea games. You're like, damn, we are right there. We need to continue because when we get out of this 2-game stretch, we got the North London Derby. We got to get something out of the next 2 games. We came out, after losing the 3, we just came out and said, well, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to play some football. And we played football against United and Chelsea, and the game wasn't even close. But you put the pressure of the 3 games against teams with nothing. They got nothing out of those games, right? They weren't challenging for top 4. They weren't going to get relegated. None of that.
Yeah.
And we came out, and that for me is part of that's coaching. Part of that could be the camera. Part of that is the players. All of that.
It's like you're in pain, Ray, listening to the cold truth of it.
That just for me, that's
no.
But think about it. That's where we were. We were sitting there 4 points.
Yeah.
4 points going into that 3-game stretch. Give me a win, and then we'll go. And then you know what?
We needed a few more points. That's all. Look at the L's.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of D's. We turned a lot of D's from the previous season.
But it's difficult though when you're trying to concentrate on that in that part of the season, and meanwhile you got a bloke from Amazon following you around, asking you, you know, what's your favorite kind of potato? You're like, what?
Yeah, and
What?
look, I think there was something like maybe there was a lot of games. I don't know what the number was. 14 games. We went behind, and we only turned one of those around to actually win one of those games. Look at the squad we're accruing now, Gary. I think we have the players. Gabriel Jesus, a player who can turn something around by himself. Zinchenko coming. We're getting the depth, okay? Some of those players may not be starting players. And Rule says, put it behind you. It hurts, but let it go. I was actually like, I looked pain because I was saying to myself, I only wanted to talk about All or Nothing for a few minutes, and it turned into probably like 15 minutes, Gary. But that's because you and I had a difference of opinion on it. So, and that's what it's all about.
As Why Not says, the cutting room floor of Amazon, that can make money.
Yeah.
Because that's the stuff we want to see.
Rule also said, did Arteta sit in the editing room? No, I'm sure he didn't, right?
Somebody from Arsenal did, though.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. You're bringing cameras into your club. You don't want your club to be
There'll be
shown
certain
in a
players
terrible light.
that don't want anything shown
You know what I
to.
mean? Ray refuses to blame Arteta. Not true, Tony. I've called out Arteta on many, many things, and you've heard them with your ears, Tony. So, yeah, listen. Anything else to say about that, Gary?
No, like I said, I don't feel like I need to see it, but I will watch it.
Well, have you made up your mind?
Made up my mind about what?
About Arteta, about what?
I kind of feel like I don't. Like I said, I don't really want to know, but I am going to watch it. But I don't feel like I want to know because I don't really want. You know, it's one of those things where I don't need to know how the sausage was made. Right? It tastes good, or it doesn't taste good. You never heard that phrase?
Yeah.
Right? I don't really want to know how it was made.
White pudding, black pudding.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sausage, right?
Oh, stop! Now you get worse
Sausage,
and worse
hot dog.
each time you bring up another. But you know what I mean? Like there's certain things I don't. I just want to see the thing that comes on the plate, right, and make sure it tastes good. If it doesn't taste good, think about it. It doesn't matter what happened beforehand. I taste it. It tastes like crap. I don't care how it was made. It wasn't good.
The only thing I will say to maybe defend Arteta a little bit, we want to see growth in him, and maybe this will show something.
What did I miss? Defend Arteta? What? I was going for 2 minutes. What? You got this? You got the knives out already?
No, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Probably one of the last topics I want to do is maybe. I thought it'd be interesting. Okay, that team down the road are going to be our rivals.
Before we move on it, Ray.
Tony, what?
With Arteta screaming with 3 or 4 times and with 3 different videos and so on, it's calm as a classroom. Nobody's reacting. Everybody's just dead quiet.
You've not seen it yet, Tony. It's very quick editing, right? When you see the scenes in their entirety,
I know that, but I'm just saying.
You know,
what you've seen.
Here's what you do as well, right? You watch when you see
seen.
a scene where maybe the manager's unhappy, because managers get unhappy. I mean, you only have to watch Leyton Orient for a fiver and have a look at John Sitton to see how mad a manager can actually get and what they can actually say to players. But when you see those scenes, watch them back again. But then when you watch it back again, don't look at Mikel Arteta, look at the players' faces and try and see whether you think they believe in it or whether they're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do when I get home. Try and read their faces, not after you watch Mikel Arteta's, and see whether you think they're buying into it or whether he's just, or whether they look at him and just think it's a storm in a teacup. That's the sort of thing I do when I watch these things to try and.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean?
They're dead silent. They just don't seem to be buying what he's selling.
Yeah, it's the micro expressions, as I've seen in one of those TV shows.
Tony, I used to be in the army when the sergeant started shouting. I didn't butt in and interrupt.
Look, it was a heavy topic. You're stripping your captain.
There was other things too, Ray.
What?
Said there was things about performances. He said he's unhappy. Starts kicking shit around everybody.
It's quick editing,
Just sitting
Tony.
there.
We didn't really get a chance to see nothing. It was like
Tony.
quick.
Tony, you complain when you don't see passion from the manager, and you complain when you do see passion from the manager. So you're coming
I'm
at it from a
talking
certain
about
point of view,
players.
Tony.
Checkmate.
I'm talking the players' passion. Ray.
Ray's like, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
talking
moves
about
the
the
fucking
players,
rook.
Ray.
He just moves the rook over in front of his queen. He's like,
Was I not talking about the players, Ray? Pay
Yeah.
attention, Ray.
All right, Tony, let's move on. We're
I
gonna.
didn't have two seashells moving them around on you, Ray. I said the
who
players.
sells seashells
Ray
on the
had to-
seashore? Sorry.
We're gonna
How
hit
does that
2 hours.
seashell
Tony.
work in Demolition Man? How do you get the toilet paper out?
How do we feel about that team's summer window so far? That team, Tottenham.
Pretty decent.
Pretty
Really?
decent. Okay.
Richarlison.
I think they tried to answer some questions. Whether they got it right with they posed some questions. They tried to answer them. Whether they answered them correctly, we will find out. But they definitely tried to answer every question that they had on their squad. Right? They improved they definitely improved. They got a CDM. All right, that pretty much anybody would have taken.
Yeah.
Under different circumstances.
Yeah,
right?
Basuma.
Yeah. With Charleston coming off the bench, if he can give Everton something, he can give them something coming off the bench. Whether he's going to fall down a lot for sure, but Perisic, Perisic gives them some experience coming off the bench.
The best
Do you think Richarlison's going to be happy coming off the bench? He's a rabble rouser.
Yeah.
If you've got a choice, right, and you've got Gabriel Jesus in front of you and Richarlison, and you can pick one, you're picking Gabriel Jesus as far as I'm concerned. So, and I think Richarlison, I think that in his mind, and again, this is all just an opinion. I don't know the fucking guy, but I got a feeling that, do you know what I mean? He's thinking, leave Everton, because he's been the main man at Everton, right? He's been one of the main men. Is he going to go to Tottenham? And he's not going to dislodge Harry Kane. Too much marketing behind that. Do you know what I mean? So is he going to be happy with that? I think he could cause problems. The sort of guy that if he starts moaning and bitching, is Conte going to just disregard that? Conte don't like bitching and moaning, so you could see some friction there. Basuma, yeah, a good buy. But the other one that they bought, was it Perisic?
So
could be Willian. Could
what
be
I want to do,
there.
Stan, we're going to go through Arsenal's signings. We're going to go through Tottenham's signings. Let's try and match them up a little bit. So let's think about the rest after we do this first.
The thing is, you can't.
It's just fun. It's a podcast.
All right,
Have
let's
some
do it.
fun. Come
All
on.
right, let's do it.
Smile, Gary.
Fucking Maury. We forgot the
All
song,
right. So who's got the better deal on this first one, Gary? Jesus or Richarlison? I'm throwing you a softball here.
We got the better deal because we got a starter.
Okay. Jesus, right?
Can I ask questions? How much did Tottenham pay for Richarlison? Do we know?
As much as we
60.
paid for
6-0.
a lot more than we paid for.
They paid 60 million.
Yes.
What, pounds?
Shekels.
60 million British pounds.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, that's like a Pepe deal. When we bought Pepe, that's one of them. That's like an Iwobi deal.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's heavy. That's like what you would pay for an English player because he's got the English tax. They paid 60 million pounds to Everton. Everton are like, yeah, we got that Iwobi money back at last.
Everton
Think about it. But also, I believe he's not that bad. But if he's gonna, for example, if he's gonna come off the bench or if he's gonna play in cup games, they don't need to play with some of their starters, right?
I think that's a lot of money,
Right.
man.
It's a lot of money, but I mean, they
They should be paying that for a starter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, who's going to have the better season?
52
Jesus,
million,
right?
Stan. 52.
Well,
2.5 million
Gabriel will
pounds.
have a better season if he doesn't get injured because he'll get more minutes. Richarlison's got a
have we
cover for
got-
Bruce Forsyth.
So have we got the better deal, us or Tottenham?
52 and a half.
Us, right?
Yeah.
So that was an easy first one. Gary, who would you...
I mean, Gabriel Jesus hasn't left Man City to go and be backup to the human flycatcher, son of Bruce Forsyth. It's a no-brainer.
Right, Stan, Bissouma for Tottenham. Who are you going to pick on our side to go up against them? Go up against Bissouma. And they've got 6 in the door. We've got 5, so it's maybe a little bit. There's going to be an odd person out.
I would say I'd have to pick Tielemans if Tielemans is going to come in, right? Because he's maybe
Okay, let's do that.
the closest.
Yeah.
Maybe Zinchenko. Could we compare Zinchenko, who's come into to that position? I don't know what you guys
I
think.
got Zinchenko matched up with Lenglet.
Okay. So we say Tielemans. I don't know what you guys
Let's just
think.
say Tielemans or Paqueta. It's still Bissouma's going to win, right?
Well, Bissouma's more of a defensive.
Yeah, if you put Paqueta in there, it's not even a good comparison, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I should do Zinchenko.
Paqueta supposedly is coming with a lot of qualities that teams want. So
Zinchenko with your debut.
yeah.
As much as I want to spin it, Bissouma's he's oven ready, isn't he? He comes with a head start. He knows the league. He's oven ready.
Yeah, we're going to let Tottenham have the win there, right? Bissouma is the better player in midfield, right?
It doesn't matter who you compare him to because of his position. We would take him. Every team in the league would take him.
Yeah.
Right? Liverpool. I've heard Liverpool fans talk about him. Everybody would take him. There's not that many like him out there.
Correct.
He's a unicorn.
I would not disagree with that. I would not.
Question then, lads. So if again in front of you you've got Tielemans and Bissouma, you're taking Bissouma then, yeah?
Taking Bissouma.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know,
yeah.
There is an issue I think with the player that obviously there's that case around them, but I think he's not a very good disciplinary player. I believe he's had some DUIs, had some other issues as well.
Alonso's in the house.
Alonso's in the house. DN is here. All right. I'm going to stack up Perisic up against Fabio Vieira. And I know it's a little bit unknown.
Well, we all know Perisic. We don't know Fabio Vieira, do we? Like, who?
So
we don't know.
That's the problem with some of our picks. We just don't have established players. Look, all their outside. I don't know that Langawi or whatever player you called.
Lenglet. Yeah, I know him. He was from Man U, wasn't he? No. Oh
yeah. I don't know that player, but most of the other players I've seen them play. You know, whether it's for their country or what, but I've seen them play.
Let's let some of the chat room guide us then. Let us know if you're going to go. If you think Perisic is a better buy for Tottenham than Fabio Vieira, and I know Rule.
Where does Perisic play? Is he a winger?
Yeah, he's a winger.
Right side or left side or some shit? Yeah. He's like 33, right?
But this is the issue as well. Tottenham
left midfielder is more what he is.
Tottenham are coming from a different way than we are.
Filling holes that we don't have. We don't even have players.
Where's he going to play? Is he going to play in part of that front three like Kane, Son, Perisic? Is that how it is?
No, he's the left midfielder.
Okay.
Left wing back says Rule.
Left wing back
for Perisic. Perisic is super fit for his age.
Yeah, see, it's hard to do the comparison. I really believe because they are filling little holes.
Yeah,
we have very big
craters,
gaps that we are trying to
huge
fill.
Craters.
And you put Jesus in there, he's still looking around, going, "Hello, hello, hello, hello," because there's still a lot around him that he's like, "Damn." This echoes, man. Come on.
I'll just say to be determined on this one and move on.
Gary, I thought he was doing an impression of my ex-girlfriend when she used to go for her gynecology checkup, but that's another story for another podcast. Please continue.
Can we continue on your story?
Perisic has always been a class player. Let's say that's
let's just say the doctor lost his watch, Tony. That's what I'm saying.
Also.
Yeah. And it's not bad when you clean it up.
The more I was on a show and we were talking about their picks, and it's just like I don't really want to say anything good about them, but as much as they spent a lot of money to fill some holes, but they filled the holes. So that's the problem. It's not whether or not they've spent a lot more than they should have on some of the players.
How much
but
did they pay for that Perisic? Was that a free loan thing or free thing, or did they pay money?
Yeah. He's free.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
Basuma, what was that? That was a cut price deal, though, right?
25, I thought. Yeah,
cut price, isn't it? Because of the heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perisic has been a class player. Let's say Perisic shades that one on Fabio Vieira. Okay. We'll
I
give
think that's
them
a
2-1, right?
TBD
Only because we don't
tournament
know Fabio Vieira, right? And
That's a
different
2D
positions. Sounds like
be
very different
determined.
positions as well. If he's playing at a wing back position or a wing position, again, it's not a fair matchup, is it? Maybe he's more of a matchup with Marquinhos, to be fair.
He's more of a left
Isn't he?
midfielder, easily. Left midfield,
Isn't he?
sometimes
I
left
don't know.
winger.
He says here, okay, why not saying left wing back,
Alonso's
left
here.
midfield, left? He's a left-sided player. So as you see, why not? He's not occupying a position. He's occupying space on the left side.
No,
We've come round again. So okay.
Everything comes full circle, Stan. Right? Everything comes full circle.
So it's like Lion King is. We'll start singing the Circle of Life in a minute. Sorry. Circle of
All right,
Shine.
Alonso's here.
The Suma was 26 million, Stan.
Tony's up on the
Stan.
top row.
Stan,
Wrong way. Yeah, go on.
was I the same watch from Pulp Fiction?
This
All right,
watch. This
two-
watch, Tony.
2-1. Let's say Tottenham shaded that Perisic one. Just for shits and giggles, Tony. Turner versus Foster. Goalkeepers. King of the battle of the goalkeepers.
it's not even close once again, right?
Oven
Everything-
ready, isn't he? Oven ready.
I think Fraser Foster is a better goalkeeper than
I think
That's the
he's
jump.
hasn't he
He's
played
very
in
That's
the
a pretty
league?
easy one.
Hasn't he
I'm just
played
gonna
in
put that one up,
English
right?
football,
That
much
one's
less
easy.
Premier League football? I mean, come on.
Has to jump, didn't he?
Like I said, they are
It's not going the way I want.
they're on a
it.
different level in terms of what they were doing with their squad. I mean, it's just
This
it's
is not how I planned this. I thought.
No, you're not. You know, you're basically saying that they did a good job, and that's what I did not want to say. And we're
But don't you
we're
think
saying it
Foster's got the
indirectly.
jump, hasn't he? He's got the jump.
Well,
He's
that's
up
what
and ready. He knows.
spent, like, the first
He knows
3 minutes
his
of
way
this saying they
around.
did a good job.
Welcome to the Arsenal show. We say that team across the way there did a really good
That's the
job.
most positive words I've heard you saying.
Okay,
This last 20
Roll
minutes.
Roll is the voice
Over
of
3
reason. I like,
years.
I like this from Roll. Foster wins. It's 3-1 in the North London Derby, Alonso. Foster wins that one.
Hey, Stan, hello there.
Hello, sir.
All right, next one up then.
Right.
3-1. 3-1. We got a chance to tie this up, Gary. We got two more ties coming up, okay? Drum roll.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hello there, Alonso. What's going on, sir?
Nothing much. I'm so tired.
Yeah, that work thing does it.
Let's get some
Yeah.
of Alonso's thoughts on a couple of things, like some of the signings and stuff like that, like Zinchenko.
Ray
and-
wants to wrap up this segment first.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thanks for being with us as well. All of you in the chat box. Really great to have you. You get to vote on this next one here. It's 3-1 to that team. Gary doesn't like that. Marquinhos versus Langley.
Once again,
That's-
I mean,
Winger versus defender.
Okay. This is not going to plan, Tony.
Maybe you should do Lenglet versus Saliba. Right? There you
Yeah.
go. Two centre
Remember,
backs
like a new signing.
for you.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be like
Okay, I think we'll win the last one though. It's
that's like
the last
Dan
one.
and Doble coming back to them.
Actually,
He was
sorry, I
on
got
mine.
it mixed up. Hold on.
Let's do that.
Mixed up.
Let's do a fair one. And Doble, Saliba.
No, I got this mixed up. Gary.
okay.
And Doble, Saliba, they both returned
You
from loan.
intimidated me.
Saliba and Lenglet would be a good matchup, I suppose.
Why wouldn't you do Doble
No.
since he came back from loan?
Marquinhos versus Jed Spence. That's the matchup I wanted.
You see,
Marquinhos versus
Jet Spence basically killed us and knocked us out of a
He's a
cup
fullback.
game. So
He's a right back.
Yeah, Marquinhos is a winger.
I know. I couldn't find the right back for us that we just signed.
Ray, what are you doing? Can we compare these apples and oranges? Can you tell me which one is orange and which
You
one?
could have compared Jed Spence to Zinchenko as in fullbacks. Not the same side, but fullbacks,
No,
right?
I'm going to compare.
Why not do Bayer and
Zinchenko.
Gill? Why not do Bayer and Gill?
Zinchenko and Lenglet.
This is like comparing apples to pears, Ray. That's what I'm saying.
Here, I'll fix
Stan,
this
Stan,
for
you're
Ray.
speaking
Gill,
sense, and it's not.
Marquinhos.
And
I know,
Ray,
it's rare, right?
it's
I
over.
know.
It's over Ray's head.
Ray,
I know.
Ray,
Tony.
Gill and Marquinhos.
My missus is like, I thought you was
both
coming off
fingers.
at 7, Stan, to take me out and that last night before I go away
Who?
for 3 weeks. And I'm like,
Gail and
no, I'm on a
Marquinhos.
roll here. I'm speaking
Who's
sense.
Gail?
so-
Brian Gill.
Brian Gale. Did they sign him?
isn't he phone?
Okay.
Go.
Square
He came
pegs,
back.
round holes. Zinchenko, Spence. The last one was going to be Zinchenko and Lenglet, and Zinchenko is going to win that one, right?
What against who? Lenglet.
So basically, what I'm saying is both of our
Barcelona, isn't
ex-Manchester City players.
Gil was on loan to Valencia. Now he's came
Good
back to
vibes.
Spurs.
Oh, right. Okay.
Anyway, that's it. That's the show.
Fuck what Alonso. Thanks. It's over.
Good to see. Good to see everyone. Good to see
No,
everyone.
no. You got anything else to talk about?
All I'm
Alonso,
saying, you know,
any
dodgy landings. Was it brace? It's one of them, isn't it? Brace yourselves for this landing.
We're gonna
If
have
that's
a,
the
Leslie,
drop
you
down.
keep,
Between your
you keep,
knees.
pulling- you keep,
All the
you keep
oxygen
pulling up on the
masks are
throttle
shaking
because
around.
it's
Everybody's
like
grabbing them.
you're. Oh my god!
we are gonna have a long.
Just
Someone's
give
just
me
Every
10
day
passed.
for
minutes.
Someone's just
themselves.
passed Ray a note, and it just says, "I have a bomb."
All right, Alonso,
calm.
bring us up to speed. We're gonna do a quick synopsis of the show. All four of us were here. We want to get your take on Zinchenko, 30 million deal.
Can I
agreed.
just say one thing?
Yeah.
Does it involve
Alonso looks like he's dressed in the penitentiary with the white t-shirt and the orange, and then like the little thing there. It looks like Grand Theft Auto style.
Somebody talk about the Gallagher horror penalty.
Yeah, it was a rough day today. The soap dropped, and I had to make a quick dash, and I was able to do it.
It was a
Right.
horrible penalty for Gallagher. Darwin Núñez has scored 4 goals in the second half, so we can't.
He scored
count.
4 goals today. Darwin Núñez scored 4
Yeah,
goals
he
today.
scored
Who
4
were they
against
playing?
Leipzig. Pretty
Okay.
good, right?
No, man.
Can't even banter them.
Did you see the
Okay.
goals? Did you see them? Were they any good? Was
No,
it?
no.
Yeah.
This
I-
Liverpool, like,
I think he's gonna surprise people because he doesn't have to be the man because they got him all over the pitch.
I think Gary, he'll score 3 goals in one game and then he won't score for 5.
They don't need him to. They got more than enough. They got more than enough. They
Oh my
don't
God,
need
bro.
him to go. They don't need him to be the man to this
More
year.
than enough to do what? You think they're winning the league?
One of the 4 was a penalty stand.
More than we will have a chance. Yes. We got Salah. They've got Diaz. They've got Jota. They'll be
All right.
fine.
A discussion for another time.
Good choices.
Everybody done? Can I ask Alonso now? Yeah.
Yes.
All
No.
good. Tony,
Go ahead.
Alonso, what do you think about Zinchenko?
Zinchenko is going to be a good player for us. I think he's a good utility guy. I think he brings a lot of leadership, like we've been lacking in the past with Gabriel Jesus. He's a winner, something that we've needed, yeah, I'm looking forward to him playing a left back and also midfield. I think he brings a lot to what we need at Arsenal, and that's a utility player. Though Nanos did his best, he won't be long. So Zinchenko, I'm very excited about his opportunity to play for Arsenal, and he brings leadership and a winning mentality, just like Jesus. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in an Arsenal uniform. I think he cries a lot. That's okay. We need that passion. I think we need that sense of pride as well. So I think he means a lot of that, and I think he's also playing for Ukraine. So he also has a chip on his shoulder a little bit, and I think he'd do fine in Arsenal.
Very good. The next thing we talked about, Alonso, and I think Zinchenko is going to be a good signing for us, definitely. Next thing, I don't know if you saw the game last night, Orlando.
I did, yeah.
What were your thoughts on the game?
I thought it was we started off pretty slow. Obviously, there were still some issues at the back, and I think Mauri shows why he needs to go. I think Tavares on the first goal iffy, but I think there's some improvement there. I think there's a lot of improvement in Tavares, so I think you can see him stay, but there's rumors he may be on the way out us also. But I think at the end of the day, I think we're seeing Reece Nelson's scoring. I think it helps his chances a little bit by staying. I think that Eddie Nketiah is the real deal. I think he's ready to play. I think he's ready to take that next step in his career, and I think that having Gabriel Jesus there is going to help him out a lot because the pressure vice versa to succeed. So I think he'll learn a lot from Jesus, and I think all in all it was great exhibition. I saw Ben White's strengths as well. I think he got off the pitch pretty deep in his zone. So I think Ben White's a player to watch this year as well as Saliba. So yeah, I think Saliba is going to bring the best out of both Ben White and Gabriel too, because we're going to need everyone. We're going to need everyone. Because I think that is going to be important this year.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm going to say, good little take there, Alonso. Your predictions on Eddie and Nketiah's season notwithstanding.
Our substitutions are
Outstanding.
second to none here. Our game management, bringing in the right sub at the right time, working out a treat. Jesus with at least 5 goals and 5 starts. An exercise real quick, Alonso. We're selling some players. I want you to give us English pounds real quick. Bern Leno, what much do you want to get for Bern Leno? Realistically, how much do you think?
12 months left on his deal.
Okay, Tony.
Hang on, does
right,
Alonso
Tony.
have to say what he thinks or what he thinks
No.
Arsenal will get?
No, just what he thinks we're going to get. It'll be
I
too
think-
long. We all want to go home, Stan, right?
I think for
Sorry.
Burnt
Wow.
I think you're asking about 18 pounds.
18 million.
£18. Fucking hell.
We
I had to get
thought that
from my
was too
paper
high.
out.
We were thinking 10 million, Alonso.
Well, he has to play for Germany too. He's a backup. Yeah, he's
At 12 months left. He ain't going for that much.
okay.
Alonso.
Let's not be the peanut gallery here, okay?
Christ,
Bellerin. Just throw a number real quick.
10 pounds.
10 million. We thought 4 million. We averaged it at. Pablo Marie.
2 million.
2, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
looking at Ray's speedy exit, it would seem that I'm not the only one that's on a promise tonight. Please continue.
Torreira, Alonso.
Wow. I give it 10
He's
pounds.
not have fun in the kitchen.
10 million
So,
pounds.
cooking.
10 million. We thought 13 million for Torreira. Pepe.
Wow.
Quick fire round.
24 million pounds.
We thought 18. Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
11 million.
8.
11.
We thought 8.
Come on, Alonso, hurry up. The missus is getting dry. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Nelson. I'm moving on, Stan. Nelson.
Bruce Nelson. 9 million pounds.
Is he
9.
keeping time with our watch?
6. 6. What are you going to do with Rudderson?
Watch.
Who's that?
Runerson. What are you going to do with Runerson? Free.
500,000 pounds.
Wow. We went with chicken and mushroom pot noodles, but there you go.
And what should we do with Tavares, Alonso?
Keep it clean.
21 million pounds.
No, we're going to send them out on loan, right? Anyway,
For
we
3 million.
I
thought
thought we were just taking them out to the park and then driving away.
we thought that we would get 61 million from all those players, Alonso. So, listen, we do have a few more minutes on it.
Alonso's like, you lot have been on magic mushrooms.
So, Stan, I'm not in the same deal that you are on tonight. So, I'm going to talk about Chelsea real quick and what you want to see at the weekend. I forgot we missed something.
Yeah, good. Chelsea at the weekend. Strong game, right? You know, it's always a good tune-up game to have. So hopefully we're going to see a strong 11. And let's go out and keep a little bit of pride. Remember, if we win, we're going to win the league. But if we lose, it's just a meaningless friendly. So just remember that.
Can you tell Alonso your thoughts on Zinchenko and if you squint your eyes?
Yeah, it's an added bonus. In case you didn't know, Alonso, an added bonus of Zinchenko is if you stand about 5 feet away and squint, he looks a little bit like Kevin De Bruyne. So
There's hope, right? There's hope, right?
you know?
Tony, what's your thoughts on Chelsea? I thought we played Orlando with a weak side, and we gradually got stronger as we went on. I think we're going to do the opposite for Chelsea. Start with a strong team and sort of dilute it again.
Yeah. Hopefully we just see him for about 45 minutes, let players and stuff play. But second half, but first half should be good fun.
Gary, I think that's the end of Tony's. Yeah, done, Tony.
Oh,
Over.
Over?
Gary, Chelsea. What do you want to see this Saturday, Gary? You're gonna have the trip, right?
Oh, I do have one more. Sorry. I don't want to see Jesus diving into tackles because I don't want to
Yeah.
see him get fucking injured
Last-
before the season begins.
Last season, Partey was injured in the Chelsea game last season. Let's not do that again. You know, Gary, Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see our strongest 11 that we have available to us right now. So Zinchenko, I need to see him play. Of course, the three Gabbies and Saka.
Gabby.
Saliba would be
Tony
nice.
loves that.
I think Ben White's going to play on the right. Yeah, so yeah, that would be really nice to see.
I get confused.
And if
with-
we're gonna, if we're not gonna start Tavage, then you see Zinchenko back there. So I think I want to see our strongest 11 because I think it'd be nice to see them all out there. So yeah, that's what I want. Get a good 45 minutes out there or 30 minutes for Jesus. So he doesn't need to play a full half.
Are you sure he's not Gabriel? You always confuse me because you call him Gabriel, then you call the center back Gabriel, then you just it's confusing. Pick one.
He usually gives me this shit.
I said Gabriel, and I said, yeah, figure it out. All right, you're smart.
Figure it out.
When is the Chelsea game? When is it?
Saturday. Yeah, come on, Stan. They produce a fixture list, Stan. Come on.
All
Fever pitch.
Stan has other things to worry about.
Stan's got
right. I'm going to get out of here.
Stan's got
All right.
watches,
Things are starting to get dry.
Stan, the conversation's
It's the
dry.
Sahara Desert out there, man. Come on.
Stan, give us your final words, Stan.
My final
Stan's have
words.
to do more work.
See you later, everybody.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us. Blah, 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 blah. Can't wait till Chelsea. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Wicked.
It was a good show. Alonso, thanks for joining us at the end. You gave us some good quick fire round there. What's your final thoughts or your parting message to Arsenal?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm a little bit late as always. But anyway, I hope we smash Chelsea, and thanks for being on here, guys. In the chat, thanks for being here, and thanks for comments.
We're gonna get to Gary, and Tony, as always, will have the last word. Tony always has the last word. Lonzo, real quick, what's your thoughts on the All or Nothing? Did you see the extended trailer?
Right. I thought it was pretty unique. I thought that it showed it exemplified what the whole season was like. We saw our fans being negative in the beginning, and then you saw them come about together and just say, "Hey, we got something going back. Something's going good here." So it's kind of good how they still about a team, even if it's from England or here, wherever. And you saw a little bit of emotion there, a little bit of pride from Arteta and anger and frustration, but also very, very prideful as well. And I've seen that there's some scuffle between I think Suarez and Lacazette, and that was pretty different. Yeah. And
I wonder
Xhaka,
who's like, hold me back, Stan.
One quick thing as well to all you guys in the UK that were moaning and like feeling like death warmed up because you had to sit up till 1:30 in the morning to get the kickoff of the game. Remember that when us guys out here in North America are getting up at 4 a.m. to watch a game, and then the rest of our day we're going like through zombie land because we can't get back to sleep and we're knackered all day. So
I will say it's a little bit easier for us on the East Coast.
I hate those fucking 6 a.m.
7:30 we have to get up, but for you, Stan, it's 4:30 in the morning. Half 4.
I hate those
4 o'clock sometimes.
ones.
Horrible.
Respect to you, Tony. Respect to Stan, and I don't say that too often. Respect to you, Tony.
Respect is due.
And don't forget Alonso. He's in the Central Time Zone.
I'm going to get my final word in. Listen.
Yep.
I think things are going to get better with Arsenal. There's going to be less and less opportunity for us to bitch and moan and complain about Arsenal because we're going to be winning more games than losing. So there, put your negativities away. and be a little bit more positive because we're signing good players. Let's get some of the bad ones, the wood that's rotting. Let's get them out the door. Gary,
Yep, we are at least hopefully 2 more players away from finishing this window. Right, that'd be really nice. We got a game on Saturday. Let's go out there, and looks like Chelsea is into losing, so let's continue that trend. Give them something. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, as
we
long as
should
we,
be
as long,
Chelsea.
yeah,
Gary, we need to be Chelsea this season.
yeah. We should punish them,
Third place.
and then pull our starters, and then let them have their fun.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. I'd like to see us come out with our starters, let them play, and then pull them out for the second half, and let the youngsters go. So yeah.
We're gonna see Sterling running for the bus like an old lady as well. Sterling, I'm sorry the way Sterling runs. Listen,
Yeah.
if he was with us, I'd love him, but he's a Chelsea player, so there you go. That comes with the territory. Tony,
If you want to know what my missus looks like running for a bus in her heels, carrying a handbag, watch Raheem Sterling, and it's pretty close. Hello there.
yeah, but she's wearing the high heels. And he's wearing
I just want to know about the watch. I just want to know about the watch.
All right, listen, I want to say really thank you for all 4 of you joining me. Tony, we'll get to you, don't worry. And all of you in the chat box for watching and hitting that like button and coming back each and every time. Thursday Night Forum's getting bigger and better. Sunday show's getting bigger and better. And it's thanks to you guys on the panel as well as me, because my shit takes sometimes. They smell really bad. Tony, go ahead.
Say good night, Tony.
I was do what you did just now. As I
didn't
thank
say the
all
line,
you
though.
guys. Thank for comment sections. Yesterday, I think Gary after a watch along because it didn't feel good yesterday. Don't really feel good today. Taking chemo drugs. Getting ready to take another immune suppressant drugs. Not really feeling good. Having problems with my leg. Keeps splitting open. Can't walk. Stuck in a wheelchair most of the time. So these podcasts are a welcome distraction. There's a lot more to the world of football. It's fun to sit back here, talk about it, have a good time, talk about stories about watches or whatever happens during the show. But it's nice to be here, nice to hear stories, get to share laughs and banter and all that we do.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing. I'm not here to tell. I do tell somebody how to feel sometimes, but it's not my place really to tell you all how to feel about Arsenal. We all feel a different way about Arsenal. And yeah, we can argue, Gary and me, about the documentary. But at the end of the day, we put that to one side and we all support the same team. Listen, down there, the ticker is going for Tony. Please go donate if you can, if you're able to. Try to go on Twitter. I'll tag 5 other people. Spread the word. Get it out there for Tony. He needs a peg leg, so we can talk about 2-legged finals and 2-legged semifinals.
All these 2-legged affairs. I just want an affair with
2-legged
2
affairs. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to all of you for joining me. Say good night, Tony. Stan.
Good night, Tony.
Alonso. Gary.